Evening, all guys. Hope everybody's keeping well. Welcome back to Beyond the Lane, episode 35. How's everybody doing out there today? Let's welcome in our guests. Ian, how are you, buddy? Welcome back.
I'm good. I'm good. As I was saying pre-show, I was in Bilbao. A fantastic experience. Maybe not the greatest game, maybe not the greatest performance. No doubt we'll talk about the issues that surround that. But seeing us win a cup for the first time in a while, and it's actually the first time I've been in a stadium when we've won a cup, I think, since 1991. So that made a nice change too.
I can hardly see you, Ian. I don't know if it's
Sorry,
my camera.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's like you were sinking out the screen. You're right.
Sorry, is that better?
There you go. Yeah, it's much better. And Philly?
Say it's better if they can't see me.
No, we want to see you, mate. Thanks for jumping on, Ian.
Yeah, no problem.
Philly, evening to you. How are you? Thanks for coming back on.
Mate, anytime, you know this, right? Big up DANalyst. Big up Nige. Nice to see you, Ian.
All right, yeah, I'm just looking at the comments as well on the. I'm reading the comments to see what's sort of coming up in the chat. Yeah, all right, Nige. Yeah.
What's coming up in the chat?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just reading.
All good at the moment.
What's that?
No, I'm just reading what people are saying. Sorry.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Nige, how are you, man?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, a bit just disappointed the season's finished. You know, it's been finished a couple of days, and I'm already thinking, roll on next season. I mean, I love the summer, but I hate the summer as well because cricket, tennis, I'm already counting down to August. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good. Maybe our final show of the season. We might do one more next week. We'll see how we feel. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up everyone watching at home. Please subscribe to all our channels if you haven't. We'll get the links up, put them in the chat a bit later on. Let's see who's here tonight. Let's get the comments up. So Nige. Big up Tony. Guests and chat. Ange out ASAP. Smash the lights. Cheers, Tony. Adrian, I think. Good evening, Nige, Dan, and all. Cheers, Adrian. Evening, George. It's great to be a Spurs fan. Medal, yellow first, red trophy. Well, apart from the 22 defeats. Evening, Dan, Nige, and chat. Oh, we got one more special guest jumping on. Big up, Paul. How are you, man?
I'm great. I'm just coming briefly to get an apology from you all.
There he goes.
You told me we weren't going to get past Frankfurt. You told me we weren't going to get past Bodo Glimt. You told me we had no chance of winning the final. And here we are. European champions.
I'm not sure we said that, but you know, big up, mate.
Oh, I've got recordings. I know where the bodies are. Ian will back me up on this. So
well, I didn't hear your show with Dan, but you are consistent. I'll give you that. You have not flip-flopped. Most of us have flip-flopped at various points, particularly since Christmas. But I'll give you haven't flip-flopped at all.
I've been on it since September, when I first realised what the plan was. Not to lose 20 whatever league games, but to concentrate on the one thing that would get us Champions League next season. Because there was no way we would have got it in the league. And we knew that by November, December.
So, Paul, why have you only got 10 minutes?
Because my wife says the dinner's on the table. And I can't go against what she tells me because I'd get beaten up.
Believe me, I've met Naomi. She's a lovely girl. But
she is.
You know.
But blimey, she got a temper. Oof.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's really fair to get into it in 10 minutes, Paul.
No, I know.
In a message that
can I come back after? Can I come back after my dinner?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can.
I'm going to come
Yeah.
back after my dinner.
Get
But
involved.
thank you. I just wanted to pop in to say
Okay.
hi to all you lovely guys. Okay. Is
All right.
this a women-free zone? I've never seen a woman on your show.
What was that comment about? Why did you
We
make
did
that
one on,
comment?
didn't we?
Where are the women?
Paul, go and have your
Come on,
dinner.
mate.
We'll see you shortly.
Bye-bye.
Right, let's get back to the chat. Evening, Rob. Evening to all. Please tell me there's no flip-flopping on this show. Well, we'll find out. Big up, Mark. Hope you're good. Big up, chaps. Who else is here? Big up, SD Football. Hi there. Big up, What's the Point FC. MU owners fear the fans. Has anybody seen just how fast they're acting in the transfer market? I know.
Crazy.
I don't know if they're official signings yet, though, are they?
Yeah, can't till the 1st of June. So let's see.
Yeah, until they get them
Latest
over the
stats
line.
tonight is they've now approached Wolves about the release clause. There's talk that they're in talks with Delap, but at the moment it's talk. I think people get their knickers in and not over what is basically press talk. Wait and see what actually happens. But yeah, we probably do have some catching up to do.
Big up, JJ. Evening to you. Big up, Audio Artisan. Just laughing. Big up, where's that, Adrian? Paul K, mate. A few of us held our nerve. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, one more. Big up, Mark. All the women are in Nigel's bedroom.
Chance would be a fine thing, he says.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on here if they were.
Big
Coming
up,
here for a
everyone.
rest.
Everyone who's joined us tonight. We're going to have a good show. Lot to get into. So much to get into tonight. Let me get into it with you guys. Well, it's been a long old season, hasn't it? And it's finally over. It looked like it was going to end in disaster, but winning that Europa League Trophy has saved us. Wonderful scenes from the final. Everybody celebrating. Spurs have finally broken their 17 years trophy drought. And that night was not Spursy. Rival fans can't say anything for us for a while. And Ange and the team deserve a lot of praise for winning that final. The team made us proud to be Spurs fans for the night and the following days after. However, it's not that clear cut. That end of the season was such a fine line, which makes you think as a club, Spurs should have never put themselves in that position. Can you imagine if we'd have lost that final, it would have gone complete the other way. 190 minutes performance has turned the table on so many fans' opinion and what potentially can happen in the future. 22 league defeats is totally unacceptable for Tottenham Hotspur. If Ange is remaining as manager for next season, then as fans should be worried because in reality, his performance as manager overall has been very, very questionable. There are so many more questions than answers around what will actually get better under Ange next season. So tonight we'll be breaking it all down, reflecting on the worst league season for decades, our domestic cup run, the glory of winning the Europa League. Spurs have finished 17th in the league, qualified for the Champions League. Absolute madness. But we take it and we hope the board uses this opportunity to deliver the club what we need to compete on all fronts next season. Next season, guys, could be fantastic, exciting, but it is a big, big if the club make the right footballing decisions in the summer. So look, plenty to get on to tonight. We're going to review the season, review the players, review Ange, talk about the board, look ahead to next season. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. So I think the first question I'm going to ask everybody and everybody in the chat as well, I'll get it up. Let's have a look. Hold on a second. Banners. Here we go. This is the first question. Describe the season in one and explain why. Who wants to go first?
Ian, you can go first, mate.
Thanks. Short straw.
Go away.
Describe the season in one what? In one word? In 1 hour?
In one word. How would you describe the season in one word?
Chaotic, I think, would be, if you want one word, chaotic.
And why?
Or contradictory. Well, I mean, let's not talk about all the things we know. We know we've lost 22 games, unheard of. We know we've lost 10 home games, unheard of. We know that we finished just above the relegation zone, unheard of. And yet we've won a cup, and we've won a big cup. People have talked for years, YouTubers, top four's not a trophy. All Levy's interested in is the money. He doesn't care if we win anything, all the usual crap, to be honest with you. And we've won a trophy. You know, some people, I mean, I see Ben's in the chat. In fact, Ben gave me a bell from inside, I think he just inside the stadium, and came and said hello with his dad on last Wednesday. And Ben has been on shows where he said, you know, I'm 28, I'm 29, he's now 30, and I want to see us win something. And I get that. He was only young when we last won something. You know, I saw us win the League Cup when I was 11. The League Cup again when I was 13 in 71 and 73. I've been there. I have seen the glory, and I'm aware that there is a generation of younger fans that have no idea what it's like to be a Spurs supporter winning things. But the reality is, this man has many faults. I know that. But he delivered what he said he would deliver, which is a cup. And although we can't gloss over, we're going to talk about where we go from here as a club. And there's a lot who want to change direction again. And in fact, in your banner, your introduction with the banners, it's, I can't remember it, but how many times has that 16 managers in X number of however many years it is, 16 managers in 24 years, come up? And yet people want to change the manager again. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I do think it's mad, because they may be right in the end. But to change manager again after, I mean, how many managers have we had this decade? I mean, since 2019, 6 years. We've had Pochettino, we've had Mourinho, we've had Nuno, we've had Conte, and we've had a couple of Ryan Mason interludes, and we've had Postecoglou. That's 6 managers in 6 years, and people want to change again. I mean, come on. One of the things, if I'm critical of Levy, and I think some of the criticism he gets is unfair, but as a businessman, I can call it that. The one thing I don't get with him is his lack, for a highly educated, intelligent man, is his lack of joined up thinking when it comes to a coherent strategy, long-term plan for the club that he then sticks with. And for once, we've got a manager who's got some goodwill in the bank. The players, if you've looked at what the players have come out with, Romero's practically said, keep Ange, and I'm in for this project. Bergvall, one of the most exciting prospects in Europe, 100% behind him. Maddison, Son, they know what goes on the training ground. I know you can say, well, they haven't delivered, etc. And that's right. And some things do have to change. But to change direction now, in my view, is mad, even though I realise I may be proved completely wrong. The difficulty as I see it, apart from the fact that, it's once again, it's another change of direction, another different strategy, etc., is who do you bring in that gives you the guarantee of the success that you want, top 4 trophies, etc. Because I'll tell you this, none of the names that I've seen mentioned come with any sort of guarantee. And when we did have the managers with the CVs with the money back guarantee of trophies, Mourinho and Conte, it was an absolute disaster. At least for the beginning of next season, stick with the devil,
All right, thanks, Ian. So the word you would use is chaotic, yeah?
I think chaotic is fair, yeah. Injuries, chaotic, yeah, absolutely.
Philly?
But we got a trophy.
No, fantastic.
A big one.
Look, it's amazing. Obviously, and we're going to talk about it.
Can I make
100%.
one other point? Sorry, and I want to get this in early. Something that's doing the rounds on social media.
Yeah.
Even before I was born, the worst 3 seasons this club has had in its history, or at least in its more recent history, 1958-59, where we finished 18th. That was in a 22-team league. So we finished 2 places above the relegation zone. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember it when it was 22 teams and 42 games. 1977, where we were relegated. And I tell you what, relegation then was a blessing because the football had been awful for 2 or 3 years before. And then 2025 under Ange. The managers, a certain William Nicholson, a certain Keith Birkinshaw, and Ange Postecoglou. All were given the time, despite their disastrous starts, and went on and they're the 2 most successful managers. And if you like, since winning this big cup, Ange is now the 3rd most successful manager in this club's history. Statistically speaking, if you look at trophies. Points on boards, maybe not so. And that's what I'm saying. Although those 2 managers were given the time to build, and they won a lot of trophies between them. We can have a count up, but it's a lot. I need 2 hands anyway.
Okay, Philly, what's your word to describe the season?
Smash me in the head with a hammer. I don't want to see any more of this thing. I don't want to see any more of teams just targeting the right-hand side when Poro pushes forward. I don't want to see the defence left with 2 men at the back with 1 ball over the top. I don't want to see balls down the side where they just keep coming inside all the time. I don't want to see it, bro. I haven't watched Spurs since October. I'm glad for every young fan. I'm glad for Ben K. I'm glad for you, Ian, that you got to see the trophy. I'm glad that everybody got to win the trophy. I'm even glad as a Spurs fan I got to see him lift the trophy, the first trophy in 17 years. But it doesn't cover up 22 losses. It doesn't cover up 17th place in the league.
Yeah.
And by the way, Wigan, when they got relegated, got more wins than Spurs. They got 20. They had 20 losses when they got relegated. So my man Ange cannot juggle the league and a cup at the same time. But this is after he started the season saying, "I'm happy with the squad." Now injuries are an excuse now. We had injuries in the first season. Now,
so what's the one word, Philly?
Season, that has to be an excuse.
Yeah, Philly, I hear you. And throughout the night, we're going to delve into Ian's opinion's different, your opinion's different, Nige's probably different, and mine. And how we're going to do this tonight, we're going to break it all down with a series of questions, which is going to break down the season. So there will be points where there will be probably disagreements, and that's fine. And we will do it throughout the show. So, Nige, did you think of a word to describe this season?
I would say, so I got 2. I would say resurgence, just the way we ended the season, obviously, or clutch. Again, just by the way we ended the season. Listen, there's no doubt, league form-wise, it was an absolute shocker. The worst I can remember in my lifetime, without a doubt. And it's so difficult because we won the UEFA Cup. And for me, it's, I know it's Europa League, but it is UEFA Cup. I remember 84. And for me, like I said before, it's the biggest trophy you can win apart from Champions League to me. Obviously, Premier League, simply because it's the one I remember the most, watching it with my dad when I was little. So for me, it was a big trophy and it was one that I really wanted to win. But we can't look past the 22 league defeats. No side in Premier League history has lost that many games and not been relegated. So, listen, I'm sure we're going to get into it. But, yeah, for me, shocking season in the league, made up for it with a brilliant cup win. Whether Ange can take us forward next season, I'm not so sure. Obviously, we're not going to have a choice in that. We just got to get behind whatever manager's in charge. And we will see what happens over the next week or two. Because I think if a decision is going to be made either way, I think it needs to be made quickly, because I do feel like we're getting left behind. Other clubs are getting their ducks in a row, and we are still wondering. Listen, the club might be sorting stuff out behind the scenes. They probably are. We don't know. But it just feels like we're getting left behind already. So I'd like the club to make a decision quickly and let us know. Not that they have to, obviously, because Ange is under contract for another year anyway. So it's not like they have to come out and say, Ange is staying. Is it 2, is it?
2 years,
Christ.
4-year contract is 2 years in, yeah. It's all right.
Okay. So, yeah, the board don't have to come out and say Ange is staying. But as a fan base, it would be nice to know either way what's happening.
No, it's great. Great. All of you guys with thoughts on that question. Yeah, all different. Now, my word to describe the season is, well, there's so many, but I mean, if you look at it, relief. Because if we hadn't won that trophy, it would have been an absolute disaster. And it was one of my best days as a Spurs fan of my life. It was amazing. And I think it's because of the season we've had, 17 years, the joy, the emotion winning that trophy brought me was our day I'll never forget. So in isolation, what a last few couple of days, few days since that final, watching the parade, seeing everybody happy. But the thing is, with the Spurs fans, it all goes back quickly to disagreements again, doesn't it? It doesn't last. People now wanted to keep Ange because he won that trophy. They want him to at least give him the season to start. So look, we'll get into it. We've all got our opinions on it, and we'll break it down throughout the show. I'm just holding back a bit, so I just want to get through to a certain point. So let's get another question out there. Now, this is a good one, right? Here we go. Where is it now? Okay. But first, before I put the question out, I'm going to play a little video. Okay? I'm going to play a little video because it was, last week was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Look, what a day, what a night last week, and I think about it a lot. I go back and look at the reaction. We watched the goals, Sun lifting that trophy, and look, I mean, for me in life, it's tough. Life is tough, right? There's a lot of pressure outside of YouTube or whatever. We work, we have responsibilities, and I mean, the season we've had, which has been goddamn awful with all those defeats, losing every week. And to give us that moment, I mean, I'm thankful because, as I said, the joy winning that trophy brought me, it really, really helped me in life. I've got to be honest. So I'm just going to fire this question out. What was your immediate reaction after full time in the Europa League final? Was it relief, joy, or confusion?
What about all three?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, joy. I mean, were you in the stadium, Dan? I mean, was anyone else here in the stadium?
No.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just think one of the things with the being there is, and I don't know what it was like at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or in the pub that you were in or the lounge that you were in with your mates or whatever, the tension, the sheer strain of particularly that last 10 minutes and then 7 minutes of stoppage time was almost unbearable. Because the stakes were high, regardless. You're in a cup final, 1-0 up with 10 minutes to play. The stakes are enormous. But when you've had the kind of season that we've had, then, absolutely, but absolute joy. Relief, yes. Relief after everything we've gone through. And some of the performances, I mean, I'm not defending the performances. I'm not defending the results in any shape or form. But the relief that it's ended in that kind of a trophy, such a shocking season to end with a trophy. And when you think of the good seasons we had from 2016 to 19, that we won nothing. You can say life's unfair, but the bottom line is Pochettino didn't deliver as a trophy. Confusion, yeah, because I've flip-flopped over Ange, and I'm sure a lot have. No one wants to keep going another manager. I think people like him, genuinely like him. I think he genuinely likes us, although he's taken some fearful and unwarranted abuse. No one should. That's the worst of social media, that people take terrible abuse for with no good reason for them to take that level of abuse, particularly where they hide behind anonymous names. And then, there's that, well, where do we go from here? I mean, I've thought long and hard of it before I've come down on the side that I've come down on. But having come down on it, I'm emphatic that we need to carry on with this. We need to give this man more time to see what he can do. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball to say that any manager that we've been linked with, the only two I would think were remotely credible would be Glasner and Inzaghi. Why Inzaghi would want to come, I don't know, particularly if he pulls off the Champions League trophy on Saturday night. Glasner, I love the way Glasner's team's set up. I love the way he sets his teams up. And I think as well, with the players he's got and the system he's got, he wouldn't have to make too many tweaks and too many personnel changes to get more out of our players. But I just think this man, has earned more time. He is a serial winner, and it's no good saying it's all very well doing it in Scotland, doing it in Japan, doing it in Australia, because he's now done it in Europe. So that sort of talk doesn't wash for me.
Ian, look,
yes,
just trying to rein it in. Yeah, just like we're just talking about the initial kind of reaction after the game. We can get into all that stuff throughout the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
What I try and do is just try and keep it around a question. Otherwise, we'll just go
and
off.
I'm going to get a cup of tea while you bring somebody else, because you called sort of looking 2 minutes before the show started for someone to come on. I said, okay, I'll come on and do it, but I'm behind. But I'm going to grab a cup of tea while you speak to other people and bring it back. But I, like a lot of Spurs supporters in that stadium, had tears in their eyes, and that's one of the things you want football to bring you, that level 100%. Of pleasure. And just one quick thing, Dan, is go start reading down the names of football clubs in and around the from the Premier League down to the bottom, and say how many teams actually have any chance whatsoever of having a night like we had. Not many. No,
look, anyway, it's fantastic. You don't have to tell me that, Ian.
Tell me.
I watched it. Yeah. It was fantastic. Is that a message? Are you trying to say that to people, particularly in the chat, or anyone on the panel?
I'm talking about if you support Hartlepool, or if you support Millwall, or if you support Norwich or whatever, you're never going to get and hundreds of teams like that. You're never going to get a night like that.
Yeah, of course.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. We're very lucky and we're very privileged. I will be back, sir. I promise.
Make a cup of tea and come back. Philly. So, where did you watch it? Did you go out? Were you at home?
I watched it live and direct at home, and I watched it with a few Tottenham supporters as well on a WhatsApp, and especially with some young Spurs supporters as well who have never seen Spurs lift a trophy. So that was the joy bit for them, seeing Tottenham cross the line, even though they were nervous. But in the last 10 minutes, I was not nervous because I just watched how Ange was it 5 at the back? Brought Danzo to make it 3 at the back here, so that we were defensively solid. We gave up our attacking edge here to go defensive. So there was no medium really. It was pure all hands to the pump, and we just held out, and that was fantastic. That bit was fantastic. But then that leads to the confusion bit of where was this all season? Why haven't you not tried this all season in the Premier League? Why is it in the Europa League you could do this and you can change the way that you play, but in the Premier League, the bread and butter, you couldn't do it? So that's the confusion bit. But the joy bit comes from all the Spurs fans getting to enjoy winning a trophy, and the young generation getting to see Tottenham step up the hollow steps and Son lifting a trophy.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic day, but it's not clear cut, is it, Philly? It's not clear cut.
No, it's not.
We've had a dread awful season, and if Ange is still going to be here next season, there are big concerns, major concerns. So
I agree.
we're going to break it all down very soon. Nige, what's your initial feeling after that whistle blew and we won that trophy?
Very much the same as you. It was relief, pure relief when that final whistle went, because we've been here too many times, haven't we, over the last 17 odd years? How many semi-finals, finals have we got into and not got over the line? So for me, just pure relief. And yeah, it was one of them. Relief, shock. I don't think I took it in until I actually saw the trophy lift. And I don't know whether you guys are the same and anyone in the chat, but this really annoyed me. Like, whenever you see like a team win a trophy, yeah, and they go up and collect it at the end and they go up, all the party poppers go off in the background, don't they? Amazing. Spurs lifted their trophy and the party poppers didn't go off. And I'm like, what's going on? And they went until like 10 seconds later and one of them went off. And I'm like, typical. It's a typical Spurs' luck that the party poppers don't go off. But yeah, pure relief and shock and then emotion, I think. And I saw your video, Dan, and you were emotional. And yeah, when I had my son ring me, like I said before, who's never seen us win a trophy, in tears, like screaming down the phone, I can't believe it, Dad, we've won a trophy. I cannot believe it. And it's like, I literally said to him, this is how it feels. This is how it feels to win a trophy. And now he knows what it feels like. And like myself, he probably wants more of it. I want the same again next season. I want another trophy now, and that's it. 17 years. I don't want to wait another 17 years for another trophy.
Quite right.
I want one next year.
Yeah, that feeling was just amazing. But look, let's get down to it, man. We're kind of skirting around the subject, so let's just get into it because this. What about this question here? Let's get into it. Did this Europa League win save the club from complete embarrassment, or did it paper over the cracks from a broken team and failing project? Who wants to take this one first?
After this, it's going to be the latter one. The cracks of a broken team and a failing project. That has to be for me. Everything about this year has frustrated me because, like I said to you before, when we won this trophy, why didn't you implement this style of play yet in the Premier League? Why did you give up on the Premier League? Last year, Ange had a go at fans here at Man City saying that they didn't have a winning mentality. This year, he's openly said he threw games towards the end of the season. What is that? Is that a winning mentality, bro? Because that's not a winning mentality to me. we sacrificed the league, which fair enough. Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? Before the league season started, I said I'd rather go qualify for the Champions League by winning the Europa League because we needed to get the monkey off our back, then go through the league. So that's fair enough. But you need to be respectable in the league. And over the years here, I've actually matured and listened to different people, and my perspective has changed a little bit on Daniel Levy. Not much, but a little bit on him. I can't ask for standards from Daniel Levy if I haven't got standards myself. That's hypocritical of me to do that. So I would never do that. But when I look at the team and the way that we are under Ange, we're open. We're wide open. There's a hole in the midfield, but last week we resolutely stood together and we were difficult to beat. And that's all I've asked for all year. Make yourself difficult to beat, and then if you score one goal, you can win the game.
He changed his tactics, though, didn't he? In Europe.
Yeah, but Ian, why?
Well, that's a really good question.
Europe, but you can't do it in the league.
I'm certainly not here to answer for Ange. One of the reasons for that is I can't necessarily explain what you've asked. When he against Frankfurt, when he brought Danso on and played 5 at the back to see it out, it's so un-Ange like. But we didn't concede. Against Bodo away, we didn't concede. In fact, rarely looked like conceding. And against Man United, we didn't concede. And in the game against, it was both the games against Bodo, and he played Bentancur and Bissouma as a double pivot. And it's something he hasn't done. So he will need to adapt, and he will need to change if he's going to succeed. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to argue about that, because he doesn't play an orthodox 6. At Celtic, he had Callum McGregor, who is pretty good box to box, but as such an intelligent player, was able to cover that gap. Bissouma over the last 4 or 5 weeks has been a revelation, playing in that role alongside Bentancur. But there's we're not going to have an argument about it being good enough, and Ange is the new Messiah and what have you. He's got a lot to prove, massive amount to prove, and a massive amount to me to prove that he can find a balance between the gung-ho football we saw at the beginning of last season up to sort of November 2023, and the defensive football that we've seen over the last few. Absolutely, Audio. Well said, my friend. Absolutely well said. Yeah. Applause from me too. Yeah, never forget that. Some things are more important than football matches and managers. And he does need to demonstrate that he can find that balance between the gung-ho, leaving us open, that constantly seeing 2 passes, and they've got 2 attackers, 3 attackers running at what's left of our defence, with the midfield caught up the field, the fullbacks caught up the field. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this. I've got no argument with this. But finding a balance between that and the defensive football he's put together in Frankfurt, in Bodo, and then in Bilbao, without conceding a goal. There's a balance, and if he can get that balance, he's got a very successful football team, because actually I don't think the players are that bad. I think put our top team out on the field. And remember, we played without Bergvall, without Madison, and without Kulusevski, 3 of our more creative players. But, look.
So I'll try and answer the question. Did it save us from embarrassment? Did this Europa League victory save us from having an embarrassing season?
Oh, I mean, it's still there's still embarrassment. I
Yeah.
don't think it changes the fact that there is embarrassment with the results. A club of our stature and our resources finishing 18th is an utter disgrace. So to that extent, yeah. Look, I don't think we'd be having a discussion. Would be if we'd have lost to Manchester United, I think Ange would be gone, and I don't think there would be any argument about that. And I don't think I would be putting up the case for him that I am now, even if it does come with reservations. So, yeah, of course it did. Cracks of a broken team, I think that's too harsh. I don't think the team's broken. I think there's still a lot of good young players in the pipeline. I think there's still a lot of good players there. But I do think we need 3-4 good ones to come in. You know, people complaining, well, every other club's doing something, and someone's put up something from Sky Sports News that I haven't seen, but that we've been offered Leroy Sané. I did hear that months ago that we'd been in talks about that. He's still a decent, more than decent player, and with the kind of know-how, knowledge, experience that we actually lack. So, you know, so that's the kind of signing with some ambition that I think I'd like to see.
So you don't agree with the second part of the question?
I don't think the team is broken or the project has failed. The problem is a project to succeed needs more than 2 years. You look at every team. It's taken more than 2 years. You know, took Ferguson more than 2 years. It took Arteta. You can argue whether he's succeeded or not, but it took Arteta more than 2 years. Can go through, you know, team after team after team that's gone on that says we need to rebuild. And it always takes more than 2 years. The point I often make on streams or in on WhatsApp chats is everybody wanted a painful rebuild until it started to hurt, and then they ran away from it.
Right, let's welcome in Emmanuel. Evening to you.
Guys.
How are you, man?
Hi. I'm good. Sorry I'm late. I literally had to run from London. So I live in Cambridge, but I work down in central London. And yeah, it's safe to say I should have probably worked from home today. But no, thanks for having me, Dan. Thanks.
Right.
And back to the panel, guys.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. So we're at the question now where, you know, that winning that Europa League, has it saved the season from being embarrassing?
Oh, I think the season, from a Premier League perspective, you can't. It can't be saved from embarrassment. That's my, the honest answer from my perspective. I think, and you guys know already. You know, last time I was here, I made it quite clear that I do back this manager. However, the Premier League season has been a no-go from my perspective. You know, 22 defeats, I think it was, is not acceptable. However, if we do go by two things, the first thing, the media and how they've been battering us as a club, even during Pochettino's days, whereby they said, "Oh, good on you guys for finishing second, but it's still not a trophy, and you guys never got over the line." And the fact that obviously fans prior to this season, I know obviously some fans at the moment look back and say, actually in hindsight, I wouldn't, but a lot of fans said, I would take the bottom half of the finishing in the bottom half of the league table if it meant winning a trophy. I think that has been huge. You saw that from the celebrations for of everyone in Bilbao, to the celebration. I was listening in the chat. I was at the stadium, and you could see grown men cry. Like the guy next to me, grown man, fully crying. I was hugging him. Never seen him before. I would probably never see him again in my life. You know, and that emotion cannot be understated. And obviously we've got the added fact that we've got Champions League. So I don't think anyone, even Ange fans, would forget the embarrassment side of the Premier League. But it's more about the bigger picture and the fact that we've got the monkey off our backs. I think that's very important.
Right. Thank you. Nige, did you want to add anything to that question?
Pretty similar to what the guys have said. I think the season's been embarrassing, regardless of the cup win. You know, for me, as a fan watching it on the TV, especially Sunday, when they were walking around the pitch celebrating and obviously showing the trophy to the fans after a 4-1 defeat, regardless of, you know, whether they were up for it or not, must have been a little bit of an embarrassment, even to the players. It must have been, because I felt a little bit embarrassed for them finishing 17th and going around celebrating. But, you know, they did have a trophy in their hand. So it's so difficult because I really want to slam them, but they won a trophy. And yeah, like I say, I think it was an embarrassing season. I do think it's papering over the cracks. I am really concerned about next season if we keep Ange. I am debating whether we should be giving him a summer window. But listen, we'll see what happens. But I definitely think it was an embarrassing season. Great that we won a trophy. And I do think it's papering over the cracks. I'm not sure whether, you know, he's lost the players or whatever the last bit of the question was. But yeah, 2 out of 3 are bad.
Look, I think it saved our season. Let's be real here. If we hadn't won that trophy, it would have been a complete disaster.
Disaster.
The whole season. Yeah, it would have. I mean, thank God we won it, and we had to win it. We had to, and I'm so happy we did, because oh my days, it would have been the worst season in memory. Now we've won a trophy, first time in 17 years. It's just unbelievable stuff, isn't it? Unbelievable. Like, I mean, I really doubted the team against Frankfurt and Bodo Glimt. I really did. I just didn't think we'd get through. But once we got to that final, and then I knew we were playing a Man United team who are just as bad as us, really. I thought we had a chance, and there was a feeling in the air that we could actually win this. You know, Ange changed up tactics in this competition. The players looked more together. They looked like they wanted it. And before the game, I did predict, I thought we might just edge it, and we did. And fair play to, you know, Ange and the players for getting it over the line. But on the other side of it, we've had the worst season in memory. 22 defeats is unacceptable. 17th in the league. Like Ange said, he gave up the league after January because maybe injuries, I guess. I don't know, maybe didn't get the players in he wanted in January. I don't know. But for Tottenham Hotspur, we should be competing near the top end of the league. Yeah, we should be competing to win trophies. We should be able to do both. Look, with injuries, there will be a drop-off. Yeah, of course, in performances and results, but not 17th in the league, and it's unacceptable. And that's why, you know, you look at Levy's his press, you know, when he come out with his statement, didn't say Ange is going to be here next year, we're going to fully back him, did he? So clearly something's going on. Something's going on, and it's still time to decide if he's going to keep the job next season or not. And I just hope it doesn't become a bit like the Man United situation when you can't get your first choice manager and then you end up just, we might as well keep Ange sort of thing. I really don't want that to happen. So look, guys, it's crazy season.
Can I add a little bit?
Yeah,
sorry,
of course.
Can I just add a little bit here? Yeah,
of course.
Right. What I listen to Nige, and he has the same concerns that I do. Yeah, I don't really want to give Ange this window, but I'm going to take it as I'm not going to say Ange out anymore, because you know what? Let it be. It is what it is now. But my fear, is that if we give Ange this window and Ange signs these players, we're going to end up in a Ten Hag situation where after 10 games, right, the bubble burst and he's sacked, and we bring in the manager, right, and the manager's pool will be smaller, right, and we'll land that manager the same way Amorim is with Man United, where you've basically stuck with somebody else's players and having to struggle through the season with somebody else's players.
I mean, Amorim doesn't have
say
the
something
players.
very quickly.
Sorry,
I think. Yeah, sorry. Just one point from what Dan said earlier about us losing 4-1. Well, you're spot on. Dan, because I listened to, so today Madders had a golf invitational tournament, and he was on TalkSport for about 30, 40 minutes talking about our season. And he did mention that after the 4-1, Ange absolutely ripped them in the dressing room. So clearly, even though they came out, smiling and clapping, etc., it wasn't a situation whereby they were like, oh, you know what, we've been drinking for the past 3 days, so and we've lost 4-1. It's all good. That's the first thing. On the second thing, with regards to sorry, I think this is the first time I've been on with you. Is that Phil?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? First time.
Sorry.
Nice to meet you for the first time.
Yeah, lovely to meet you, man. But with regards to your point, because I think a lot of people have said that about Ange and the comparatives with Ten Hag. I think what people are not taking into consideration with regards to that specific situation is that one, Ten Hag did not have the dressing room back in that it looks like Ange has at this moment. I don't know what you guys saw, whether you guys saw the reports coming out with regards to Romero and the conditions that he has for staying, and the last post that he posted where he says, we move on together, something of those sorts, right? So he didn't have that. But secondly, Ten Hag, during that window that we are talking about, and even the prior window, went on a spending spree, buying only players that he's worked with before. So you'd remember that he went to Ajax and bought, Anthony for 89 million. Onana, he's worked with before. So he went in and said, buy me these players that I have worked with before. Whilst if you look at the players that we've bought as a club, even if you were to take Ange out of the equation, I do not see a manager that would come in, whether be it Glasner, whether be it Inzaghi, whether be it anyone else, who would say no to the likes of Romero, the likes of Van de Ven, the likes of Solanke up top, Bergvall with the way he's playing. I do not see that. But also, if a manager wants to come in and say, I want to play 3 at the back with 2 wing backs, we've got that set up. We've got Dragusin, we've got Romero, we've got Van de Ven, we've got Danso, who are all pretty good at 3 at the back. And we've got Porro and Udogi, who were wing backs before they came to the club. So from my perspective, I feel like the club has actually done very well. And you guys know what I think about our recruitment policy, etc. But I feel like the club has done very well in buying to suit a project rather than buying to suit a specific style of play. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with this club. Honestly, Emmanuel, it's just it's a mess. Yeah, we've won the trophy. Fantastic. Happy days. Brilliant. Yeah, but you're 17th in the league, man. 22 defeats. What's gone wrong? Who's responsible? Guys.
I think a lot of people are responsible, including Ange himself. 100%.
Now, what I don't understand is Ange, right? He plays this way in the Europa League, right? Great, fantastic. Why wasn't he doing it in the league? Nobody can answer that question. No. Because if he had played like this, then we would have more points on the board and we wouldn't look like an absolute joke in the league. Yeah? And let's be real here. Yeah?
I agree.
Defeat after defeat after defeat. Oh, don't worry about the league. Yeah, we're just going to focus on Europa League. Where's the respect of the team? Where's the pride? Loss after loss. Exactly.
Where's the respect for the fans here who pay hundreds and thousands to come and watch Tottenham Hotspurs here in the stadium to see league games, and then we're told, you know what, this game is irrelevant. It's a blowout. It's a throwaway game.
It's a disgrace.
Exactly.
Is that a thing though? Is that a thing? Has Ange actually come out and said, I threw the league?
Yeah.
I think it's another excuse, isn't it?
He did in January.
I genuinely think he needs a new PR person, to be completely honest, because the things that he says, like sometimes, not genuinely, sometimes I listen to it, and you know me, I absolutely
agree with that.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
I back the guy, and from I was listening to Sim today on one of the other channels, right? And the way he explained it is exactly the way I thought about it. And I'm like, dude, why are you speaking that way? If you're not going to elaborate things for fans, for them to fully understand where you're coming from, do not say certain things, because saying I threw away the league, like you said, it makes zero sense. Whilst if to me, if he had come out and said, guys, by the end of January, I saw where we were in the league, and I thought, if we climb up, we're going to get maybe 8th, maybe 7th at best, and that would still put our players in jeopardy in terms of injury. So what I thought was, I will still set up a team to play in the league and try and win. However, my best players I'm going to save and wrap in cotton wool, because at the moment they're all getting injured, and I'll play them in what I think is important for the fans, or for the hierarchy, which is to get a trophy. But to just flippantly say, I threw away the league and just full stop, will just make everyone just think, okay, well, what does that mean? Why would you do that?
Especially as last season when we played Man City and a lot of Spurs fans wanted us to lose, he came out and said, I don't understand Spurs fans' mentality wanting to lose again. Yet he's done exactly the same for half the season, allegedly. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That sounds hypocritical to me. That sounds very hypocritical to me when I look at it, and I'm thinking, why say these things? And by the way, this is not the first. That's just one impact of what was said. And I agree with you, Manny. Yeah, somebody needs to come out there and actually teach him how to speak to the media and to the fans as well. Somebody needs to. He has to have media training.
100%. Like, again, I've really backed him for a lot of the situations that he's had. However, I think the one point where I thought, oh my God, you know what, he just has to go, was when he cupped his ears to the fans. Because when he did that, what it told me at the time was that this guy has no understanding or tactfulness as to what is going on. Even if that goal has stood, we were shocking against Chelsea that game. And really and truly, he should have been quite humble about the fact that we had a shocking game and we managed to get a point out of it. Instead, he is, and to the point that Dan, you mentioned, the reason why he's left us out to dry like that is ego. It's ego. He thought it's either my way or the highway, and we're going to play like this, and we're going to play this high line because these guys have to learn it. And it's like, no. This is not Scotland. This is not, and that's not disrespect to these leagues. It's just that the Premier League is more competitive. Sunderland won a game last week that has got them into the Premier League and has awarded them 200 million. Every single team in this league has money. Every single team in this league has tactical now coaches. So you have to even Pep adapted. So I think his ego got the better of him. He figured out way too late that actually he had to change his style. Because even if you look at our game against Villa in the league, even though we lost 2-0, you could see the way he had set up was not set up to play gung-ho football. It was set up to soak in the pressure and try and hit them on the counter, which nearly worked had Sonny been a bit on form. So he in my opinion, obviously, I know people disagree, but he has realized things. He's just realized them so late that it's made it very difficult. Let's just say.
Let's be real here. He's a lucky man. Ange is
very, 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 very.
He's a lucky man because of that run in Europa. Our teams should be beating those teams. Okay, Frankfurt are good. Yeah, they were a good side. That was it could have gone either way. Man United, they're just as bad as us. He got it over the line, but it was by the skin of his teeth.
But he got it over the line, Dan. Just one thing as well about the Europa League. I remember going to UEFA Cup games in the 80s and Cup Winners' Cup games. Cup Winners' Cup's really been subsumed now into the Europa League. But seeing teams like Inter Milan, AC Milan, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, because the Champions League was actually the European Cup, and it was for the champions. It was only the champions that got into that.
Yeah.
And so if you were second, third, fourth, won a cup, you went into the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup. So they were much tougher to win than now. I didn't see massive quality, if I'm honest, in that Europa League. I mean, I'm arguing against myself here, but there wasn't massive quality in that Europa League, and certainly compared to going back to the top competitions in the 80s that I witnessed, and the one we won in 84. Weren't many really good clear. And when you think how bad Man United were, and they went to Bilbao and won 3-0, that perhaps gives you an idea of the strength of the. Bless you. That gives you an idea of the strength of the competition. But all you can beat in a cup competition is what's in front of you.
No, totally, Ian.
Story.
Yeah, and I don't want to be completely negative. Ange he set the team up right to get the result. Yes, you have to praise him. It's just, I wish he weren't doing this sooner in the league last season, earlier this season. It is a bit late, like Manny said, but it's got us that trophy. It's, we're the Champions League next season, but it's now over to the board now. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand by Ange? Are you going to let him go? Who are you going to bring in? There's so much to talk about. But look, I want to get into the league. Yeah, I want to talk about what happened in the league this season. Okay, because I want to break it down. Okay, so I'm going to bring up some information, and then anyone just add anything you want to what I'm going to show you. So we're going to kind of break it down in four segments. Yeah. So I need everybody to jump in, say what you want when I bring this up. Yeah. Don't hold back. Just to tell me how you feel. All right, let's go, because we need to get into it. And it does matter. I know we've won the trophy, and what's happened this season, we have to analyze it. Yeah, we have to. What was the tipping point? When did it fall off so badly? Okay, so this is the time between August and October. Okay, look, there's some funny little chat in the corner there. I've never seen that before. Nige, what's that?
It just you can put your comments on the stage now.
It's been there since the start of the show, Dan.
Yeah, you can put it on, take it off. I've taken it off now. All
right. So look, the start of the season, very inconsistent, right? Nine games played, 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 13 points. Guys, give us your thoughts on the beginning of the season. What did you see?
Kind of what we did, isn't it? At the start, we were very much win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, and it's been like that all season, really, from until after Christmas. It very much was. You win a game, you think, okay, let's go on, win the next game, and then we'd lose. You look at the West Ham game, we smashed them 4-1. We go to Brighton, we're 2-0 up at half time, somehow chuck it away. I don't know about anybody else, but that's when I started, was like, oh, okay, this manager's not for me. And then we go to United and smash them 3-0. So, yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, my first was Leicester. We were absolutely all over them.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, we nearly lost that game, but that game should probably have been 0-3, something like that. Newcastle, I only saw half of that game. I don't know if I think it was in the airport lounge at Toronto. I managed to get a bit of it up on my iPad. But that was a game, again, we dominated and didn't win. And I think if Ange is going to stay and be successful, he's going to have to, because we played well in those games, much, much better than the performances from, say, January onwards. But he's got to find a way of winning those games. You're going to dominate a game, roll over a team in midfield. You have to win those games. If he does that, he'll be fine. But if he doesn't, he'll be gone. Assuming he's here next year, of course.
Yeah. Can I on this, right? I think this is where a lot of times I get absolutely cooked in every show that I go in, because my view is so when you look at this run of games, I can't remember. Obviously, I can't see who was speaking, so I don't know who mentioned it, but they're absolutely spot on, right? When we played Leicester in the first game, we were absolutely all over them. We had one lack of concentration by Romero, and I love Romero, but he had a lack of concentration. They equalized. Against Newcastle, it was exactly the same thing. And then they literally hit us on a break, won. Fair enough. The games that were unacceptable to me in terms of losses were 2 games, right? So it was the Crystal Palace away performance, which was gutless. It was absolutely spineless by
Manny. Oh yeah, that's the last fixture, right? Yeah, what the 1-0. Yeah,
the
right.
1-0.
Yeah.
Then Ipswich at home, right, where we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
And then Brighton away, where we were 2-0 up, rested on our laurels, and then lost 3-2. With regards to the Arsenal game, I think it was a bit 50-50. Like, we were naive. They allowed us to have the ball, had one chance, 1 goal, went home. When I'm looking at that, 100%, I look at it and I'm thinking, we're absolutely inconsistent. Win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. But obviously, there is a lot of underlying metrics underneath this. The first 11 games and 12 games that we played, when we looked at our underlying metrics, like our expected goals, right, we were literally top 2, just behind Liverpool. Our goals scored, we were top 2 at the time, again, behind Liverpool. Our expected goals conceded, we were fourth least goals expected goals conceded, which was just beneath Arsenal. And then our goals conceded as well, we were top 4 as well. So if I'm a manager and I have got this data behind me, what I'm thinking is, okay, we're doing something right. We just need to start scoring goals, and we need to start taking our chances. Straight after that, we had the situation where the injuries started kicking in, and that is where I would have wanted Ange to have looked at it and said, you know what, we've not got the players to play that high line. Let's drop back, 10, 15, 20 yards and defend better. And that's what he didn't do for whatever reason, because of his ego, because he thought our underlying data where it was great. But in this, this run of games, yes, we lost 5 out of 6, out of 12, or 11 at the start, but we were not as dreadful in terms of our gameplay, and I think that's what he was counting on, and it didn't come to fruition.
Anybody else on that set of fixtures? Philly, Nige. I think Nige, you said already, haven't you? I'm not sure. Yeah. Philly.
Mate, I remember the Leicester game, the beginning of the season. Yes, Tottenham dominated the first half. Second half, Leicester came out. The manager changed the game plan. They started having attempts. Vardy scored. They could have scored again. It was the Bentancur injury that changed the game for me in momentum-wise. And Leicester and Tottenham held out as a 1-1. The 4-0 against Everton, that was comprehensive. The Newcastle game, it was another bad mistake from Romero. Yeah. The Arsenal one, Arsenal were missing, if I remember rightly, Odegaard. So they had no creative influence, but they managed to come here with a game. I said they came with a game plan, came with the idea to come and keep it tight and then to nick it at the other end. The Brighton game, this one and the Chelsea one, them two annoy me. Because you were 2-0 up here, and Ange's in-game management didn't change the system to secure the game. He just kept going, and it basically allowed Brighton back into the game. And then because they scored the goal, the momentum shifted in Brighton's favour, and so they ended up scoring 3 goals and winning the game. Now the Crystal Palace one, was a limp performance. I agree with Manny. It was a limp performance, the Crystal Palace game, and it was a dreadful performance. One of many actually. When I look at the Coventry game as well, that was an awful performance as well.
Yeah.
So look, this is my view on it. So I think if you look at those games, there was a lot of games where I felt we dominated, right? the play. But again, that Brighton one was extremely irritating for me. 2-0 up. Brighton get back in it, and then Ange just decided not to do anything
Shocking.
for whatever reason. Then we smashed West Ham. Then it was that dread awful performance away to Palace, right? And you got to remember Palace that didn't start the season well, and I think maybe that was their first win or second win of the season.
Just the
Yeah,
first win.
yeah. So okay, so look, not the best. So 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 13 points out of 9 games. So not great, right? Not great. Inconsistencies started to concern me a lot. So let's move to the next lot of fixtures. Okay. So this is the next one from November to December. Okay. 11 points out of 10 games. I mean, this is just, it's wild, isn't it? Look, there was a couple of notable wins, fantastic wins against Villa and City. But then if you look at it, 3 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, just 11 points. Guys, start breaking that down, that run there.
All right, let me start this one, yeah. Let me start right at I was impressed with the Aston Villa game, but then that was Dragushin and Romero in defence. The Man City game, like Manny said, there were injuries. It was Dragushin and Davis in defence.
Yeah.
Let me have a look at it again. The Chelsea game, that was another irritating one because we're 2-0 up, 2 mistakes from Cucurella. We scored 2 goals, and instead of sitting back and taking the sting out of the game, Spurs kept going, and it allowed the likes of Jadon Sancho to score the first one. And then, even before they scored the goal, I actually said that Chelsea were going to win this game by 4, and exactly what happened. And then we scored a 3rd one later in the game, an equaliser. And I remember fans, well, we got close, but no, the game wasn't that close. The Liverpool game was annoying because that's when I call him the Duracell man, the Duracell bunny. You just keep going on and on and on because it was time after time after time, one ball over the top, Liverpool against our back 2. And time after time, he never changed it. And even in that game, if I remember rightly, Archie Gray is not a defender, but yet instead of playing a system to basically try and shield Archie Gray, he basically left him exposed with the high line. And the Nottingham Forest game, Nottingham Forest just sat back and hit us with 1 goal, which is their game plan. And the Wolves game was disappointing because I thought we should have won that game, but I can't really complain about a draw.
Can I ask a question? No. If the tactics are that bad, and I'm not actually disagreeing that they are, why are the players so behind Ange? Why do the professional players, and I emphasize professional players, believe in the tactics?
I'm not sure they did until the cup final.
Excuse me, Nige. The same ones that had Son and Maddison are on the bench here, basically having a laugh and a joke, saying these tactics are shocking. Is that the ones you're talking about? Because I swear down there was a moment in these games here where there were 2 of them were talking to each other on the bench, saying these tactics do not work, but they're the ones behind it.
I've no idea what.
Yeah, I don't. Like from my perspective, right? In terms of, so actually, let me just comment on this. Phil's right in relation to this. So, I think during the Tottenham Chelsea game was when Ange tried to bring back Van de Ven and Romero. We were 2-0 up, playing quite good football. I think Romero went down first. Then I think in the 70th minute, Van de Ven went down as well, and they capitulated. I think from my perspective, in relation to the tactics themselves, and I know people again will disagree with me, but I have watched Hansi Flick's Barcelona. I know he lost the game, right? But the quality in his team allows him to play that super high line, right? And they concede goals, but they outscore the opposition. My problem when it comes to Ange sometimes is the fact that he has to acknowledge, he hasn't got the players to play that, that way all the time. And the reason why I say that is because, I think some of the guys mentioned earlier on, our game against Aston Villa, our game against West Ham, where we suffocated them, outplayed them, and put 4 past both of them. We didn't play that way by sitting backwards. We didn't do that. But Ange has to understand, especially when there are injuries and you've got Archie Gray, why are you playing all the way up in at the halfway line when the guys are not going to be able to run back? And I think that's what I have an issue with. As another example is when people say the inverted wing backs. Ange didn't invent inverted wing back play. He didn't. This has been something that progressive managers use all across. Pep uses it. Arteta has used it multiple times. It's how it's used, right? And who you have. So I think when people say bin the tactics, I disagree. I don't think he has to bin everything. He has to tweak the tactics that he has, but also adjust to the opposition, which unfortunately at the start he wasn't doing.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. I think it's more about adjusting to the opposition. That's the thing that frustrates me the most, is that he just play the same way every game, the same way. And I do think if Ange is here next season, he needs to adapt to different opposition, different situations in the game. And listen, he's not stupid, you would hope. He's proved that he can win a trophy. So I don't know. Let's see. But this run of fixtures just summed up our season, didn't it? Again, beating Villa, smashing them, and then losing at home to Ipswich. I think that was Ipswich's first win as well.
I think
Then
so.
going to City.
Any correlation there, but someone did put a comment in the chat, and it's absolutely right. The Ipswich game followed one of our European games, and our form after just about all of the European games was pretty poor. That's an area where, particularly if you're playing Champions League, if you're playing Real Madrid on the Wednesday night and Liverpool on Saturday, you're going to have a squad and tactics to adapt to that.
Yeah, but we didn't play a full strength team in the Europa League in the group stages.
you're right. You didn't.
But I'm glad you said both the tactics and the squad, because when we had the situation of the injuries that a lot of people don't want to hear, 100% we're losing games after the European games because we're playing your Archie Gray and your Dragosino, or your Archie Gray and Davis at the back, and the other string players Thursday, Friday, every single week for literally a month and a half. And it doesn't matter how much of a professional you are, you're still human. You are going to get fatigued. And some of these situations with the tactics as a combination of it, unfortunately, got us literally dropping points left, right, center.
Now, let me come in. I was listening in and everybody's made some really good points. I've got to say, Manny, about the playing that system and not having the players, made some good points. Now, there's some disgusting results in that run of fixtures. Absolutely disgusting. Losing at home to Ipswich. We didn't have many injuries, but then I think we did pick up some injuries with our centre-backs. I've got to remember that. Let's have a look. If Paul's jumped in, let's just add him in. Nice dinner, Paul.
Yeah, salmon, teriyaki, potatoes, peas, and nice for a Tuesday night.
Nice.
Thanks for asking.
So, look, fantastic result against Villa. Then you go and lose to Ipswich. Fantastic result against City, where, people say the game plan was to sit back and play on the counter. Other people say that Man City just dominated the ball.
Yeah,
probably a bit of both. Are true. Struggled against Fulham, lost to Bournemouth. We went 2 up against Chelsea, but just blew it. We obviously beat Southampton. Everybody was beating Southampton then. Really disappointing performance against Liverpool, where we were just so open, so naive against of a Liverpool team who are winning every week and top of the league. Nottingham Forest, it was so predictable, that game. I knew what Nottingham Forest were going to do. They were just going to sit in there and catch us on the counter attack, and they did and got the goal.
Yeah.
Disappointing result against Wolves. Maybe that was just a lot of games then. Maybe there was the injuries, but still, 11 points out of 10 games. It was just wasn't good enough. Paul, what's your take on that run of fixtures?
I think the fact that we lost most of the games after the European games was just to be expected. All I want to say, though, is that if you look at our last 3 away European games, we didn't concede 1 goal. Against Frankfurt.
We're not talking
Bournemouth
about that
wins.
yet, Paul. You're jumping ahead. Let's try and keep
Okay,
it
I'm jumping
focused
ahead.
on it.
But
Yeah,
okay, I'll focus on the games after Europe where we lost games. It was very up and down. We were very inconsistent. I know everyone kept saying we need to build momentum, but in the end, it doesn't matter because we're in the Champions League next season. I really couldn't give a toss that we finished 17th. It's not important.
But Paul, you don't, but other people do. So just try and keep on track where we're going. We're just breaking down the league season. We can get to what happens or what's going to happen a bit later down the line in the show.
We lost 26 games this season, including the cups. That's disgraceful, obviously. I'm not ever going to defend that. That's just disgusting. 26 defeats in a season. That's almost as many games as we played in the whole of last season. It's only 15 less. But this season we played 60 plus games. We do not have the squad depth to cope with that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of those losses could have been draws. Some of those draws could have been wins, and then again, some of those wins could have been draws or losses. So it's it's terrible. There's no denying it, but I can see a bigger picture.
Yeah, fair enough, Paul. Okay, next lot. It's fine. Next lot of fixtures. From this is a period from January to March. There's only a couple of games in March. I called it January misery. January misery because we lost every game in January in the league, and the one which was just Everton. I think was Moyes there then? Was Moyes in place when we played Everton? I think he was, wasn't he?
I think
He'd
so.
taken over. So they had that new manager bounce. Moyes going back. That was a horrible match.
Stands out for me.
What's that? The Leicester.
The Leicester one stands out for me.
Yeah, go for it, Philly.
That Leicester one was shocking. That was sackable. That was a sackable offence in its own right. Leicester, I believe Leicester only won one. I think Leicester only won that one game, and that was it. They didn't win a game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But they went 9 games without scoring after playing us. It's true. But they did win a couple more games after.
Look,
by the way, guys, right?
Yeah.
And I know, I fully agree with what you're saying, especially like the Everton game. He tried something new, it didn't work. The Leicester game was absolutely shocking. But let me just say another thing which was disgusting during January was the board, knowing the number of injuries that we had going into the January transfer window. And the fact that they brought in a keeper, because obviously Vicario was also injured. Our entire back line, including Udogie, but not Spence, I think, was injured. I think at that point, I don't know whether Bentancur was serving a ban or not. Solanke got injured. Johnson got injured. Madders got injured. The board allowing us to go through the entire January and literally buying 2 players for him, 2 outfield players for him, at the end of January is also a sackable offense for any board. Let me just say that because they are not getting out, scot-free from that side of things. Yes, we were disgusting in terms of the way we played, and actually I thought our game against Newcastle was not a bad game when we had Jed Spence having to fill in as centre back, if you guys remember. But the lack of signings, just to me personally, showed exactly where we've been going wrong as a club as a whole.
I agree with that.
Anybody else want to add anything to that set of fixtures? Anyone else want to comment on it?
It's really difficult, isn't it? 'Cause it is. You could put up all of the fixtures and every batch of them. They all look the same. Win one, lose one, win a couple, lose a couple. I mean, January was shocking, but again, like Manny said, there was a lot of injuries. I thought we played all right against Newcastle. I was at the Leicester game. It was shocking, and I actually thought he was going to get sacked after that. But then we go and beat Brentford away, get a good result, beat United at home. And it's one of them, isn't it? You think, okay, we might go on a run now. We beat Ipswich away, obviously. And then the City game, you kind of expect to lose. I know we beat them quite a lot, but City are a good side. The Fulham game was the one I think that annoyed me the most, because it was a good chance for us to keep the run going. If we're beating Fulham, we'd have been looking at like 4 wins out of 6, which wouldn't have been too bad. But yeah, that defeat I think then sparked a bit of a downward run, and we're pretty poor after that.
The City game, I didn't like the City game. I'll tell you why. When Ange set the team up, he put Doku. He allowed Doku against Porro, and we all know Porro is not good. Well, not strong defensively. And he had Spence on the bench. Now I would have played Spence here against Doku, right? And that would have nullified. And when he did it in the second half, it kind of nullified them a bit. But the fact that he played Porro, who was weak defensively, against Doku was a problem for me, because he didn't look at opposition and think, well, I'm going to play players here so that I can nullify the opposition. His countermeasures weren't good for me in this game.
Yeah, you're spot on there. What's his name? The guy on the left, the City's guy, I forgot his name. Doku absolutely rinsed Porro there. That was quite naive, I must say.
Dan,
guys, I just saw your comment, Ian. I'm just going to let me just take this off the screen a second.
Meant to
Hold
be
on a
10
second.
p.m. and I don't know, so I have to go do my own show. Otherwise, that's a dismissal offence.
It's all right, Ian. Thank you for coming on, man, at late notice. Much appreciated, mate.
Pleasure.
Take care. Take care of yourself.
Guys, take care.
See you later, Ian.
Take care.
Okay, so let's move this on a bit. Let's go to the last lot of fixtures. Just get this done, and then I've got some questions to ask everyone. So this was the final period of the season. Let me just take down that comment. So we're going from April to the end of the season. Now, this is when it just completely fell off. And because Ange said about that, he made a decision in January that he was going to put all the eggs in the basket in Europa. But I mean, look at this run. Look at this. 7 losses, 1 win, 1 draw, 4 points out of 9 games. Oh my days, it's just completely fell off. But everybody's eyes were on the Europa League and hoping that we'd win it. And I get that. We got knocked out of the cups. We're out against Villa. We lost to Liverpool in the semi-final, didn't we? I think that was in February, right? That game against Liverpool. Was that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's so.
Yeah, February. So, look, guys, give us your reflections on this. I mean, we just completely stopped playing football, didn't we, in this set of fixtures? Completely.
Yeah.
We'd all lost hope by then, haven't we? I think it was one of them where I think every game we expected to lose. I wasn't confident in any game at all that we went into in this run.
Horrendous feeling, isn't it? Expecting to lose every game. I agree. Shocking performance against Chelsea. Shocking performance against Wolves. I think the Forest one was not as bad. We actually had a good spell, and then we conceded, and our heads just dropped. Shocking performance against Liverpool. Dreadful against West Ham, but we got a draw. Crystal Palace, I'm not even going to comment. It was. You're right. A lot of people's eyes were on the Europa League, but again, it was shocking. It was shocking. It's just brought back memories.
The Liverpool one, was when Archie Gray played in the centre of the park, and and this is another worry of mine, for the young players underneath Ange. I think they get exposed. Archie Gray played in the middle of the midfield in that game, yeah, and he was ripped apart by Liverpool's midfield. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, why would you do that to Archie Gray? He's 18 years old, yeah, and you've just left him there against the mighty Liverpool to get ripped no end. And I thought that's kind of out of order. And the Arsenal game with Bergwijn as well, he kind of did that with him as well.
Yeah, if you ask Archie Gray or Lucas Bergvall if they want Ange there as their manager next season, they will tell you 100% yes. I've just sent a message to the group where they were interviewed today at James Madison's golf day, and they both said they're 100% behind the manager, and he's 100% behind them, obviously.
I think on that point, Phil, I think so. Archie Gray is a number 6, right? And he actually did very well. He surprised me. I don't know about you guys when he came in into the defensive position. I do wonder whether Ange looked at the fact that obviously Bergvall got chucked in because we had nobody, right, to play in midfield, and his quality actually came to the fore. So he looked at Archie Gray and said, well, long term, unless you've decided to play as a defender, which you're not going to play because you're not going to bench the likes of Danso, Dragusin, Van der Ven, etc., we haven't got a out-and-out number 6. You need to figure this out. Considering that he's a £40 million signing, and at a time where we did not have £40 million to just chuck away, unfortunately. So I wonder whether he was put into because I think I was talking to the guy who sits next to me at the stadium, and I was thinking there was another game as well where ever since he's been coming on as a number 6. So I wonder whether he's trying to be bedded in. But my worry is that if he does play 1 or 2 good games, that this board is now going to think, oh, actually, guys, we've got our number 6 here. So we don't need to buy another one. But I do question the fact that Ange chucked him in one of the worst games possible, though. I have to say I do agree with that bit. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, for me, yeah, with Archie Gray in particular, because this was my problem at the start of the season. And I said this on Brian's show, Tottenham Away. I said, because we had fans at the moment saying, let's drop Basuma and let's play Archie Gray at the beginning of the season. And I said, no, I want to give him 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, so that he can come in and integrate with the squad. But there was zero pressure on him just to come in and play. Because when you look at him at Leeds here, right, he had no fixed position. He played centre midfield, then he played right back. So he had no fixed position, which is why I said that he should have gone on loan, go down to a lower league, and then learn a position so that he can settle in that position. And when he comes back to Spurs, he's more ready as a player, so that he can perform for Spurs. But like you said, yeah, that is another worry of mine, is that because he's come on as a number 6 now, the club would look around and say, well, we don't need to buy a 6 anymore because you've got Archie Gray. And that's another problem for me, because I think if he had somebody he could learn from, somebody that he could watch their game, shadow them, learn their game, I think he could be a better player, but he needs time to be able to do that.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get a question out about this league performance. Manny, give us a shout when you need to go, yeah, and I'll say goodbye to you, yeah. Yeah, just give me the nod, yeah. Let's just get the questions up. Hold on a second. Okay. So let's just try this one. So how did Spurs fall apart so badly in the league? What was the tipping point? Just go around the panel. Everybody's view on it, take on it. Stop, Nige. Where was it for you, the tipping point? Where did it all start falling off completely?
For me, the Leicester game at home, that was the one I think did it for me, because you can lose games, but I don't think anyone expected us to lose at home to Leicester. At the time, they were bad anyway, but at the time, they were really bad. And yeah, so for me, especially being 1-0 up as well and chucking the game away, that was the tipping point for me. Leicester at home.
Yep, fair enough. Philly?
Brighton, Chelsea. The Brighton game annoyed me. Like I said, the in-game management. There was no in-game management. There was no take the sting out of the game for me, and that's where he lost me as a person. But then I could say that about the Newcastle game where Romero stepped out, and it's like, where are you telling Romero just to stay back in defence here because you've got Dragusin next to you? Stay back in defence here and don't allow that to happen. So it's multiple games, mate, for me.
Manny?
I think from my perspective, there were 2 points where I think the Premier League season fell off, right? So I think the first point was Ipswich at home. That performance was horrendous. And I know people, some people forget where we were at the time. We were about to go into the international break, and a win would have taken us second, right? A win at that point would have taken us second in the table. You would have gone on international break with a bit of momentum, with a bit of a feel-good factor, and we squandered it at home. Like Ipswich, I know, I'm sorry, but they were wearing pink. I know it doesn't matter, but when I used to play, any team I played which wears pink, I got zero respect and zero fear. But we lost that game, lost the momentum. And I think that's the main part. And I know, I'm reading the chat and people are saying, oh, we're 17th because of injury. You're saying we're 17th because of injuries. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. But factually, it's a catalyst, right? Him rushing to bring in Romero in against the Chelsea game was pivotal. Because once they got, Romero and Van de Ven, once they got injured, we didn't see them back until, I think it was March, that we saw them back again. And to miss for your two, starting centre backs, to miss that chunk of time. We're talking about, Saliba and Gabriel missing 2.5 months. We're talking about Virgil van Dijk and Konate missing that chunk. It's not sustainable. And I think obviously some people say it's a medical team that gave Ange the thumbs up. Whether it's Ange that took a risk, because he himself said he took a risk, I think, with Van de Ven. That once that was gone, it once they were gone by then, I think that literally just got on a downward spiral.
Paul, what was your tipping point?
Well, my tipping point, I think, was the first game of the season away at Leicester, when we should have won by about 4 goals. And I think we drew 1-1. Vardy scored. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then the second tipping point was Chelsea at home, when I don't know why Van de Ven and Romero were made to play. They should never have been risked. But that was basically the end, as it was last season when we lost 4-1 at home with 9 players. So, yeah, the first game when we should have won and we only drew, and the Chelsea game at home when we picked up the 2 crucial injuries that really finished the league season for us.
Okay. Right, let's move to the next question. Let's move this along. 1 second. Right. Okay, here we go. So what do you think was the biggest tactical flaw Ange refused to fix? Anybody just jump in and say.
His
High line for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. High line, and especially when, and I think Manny commented a little bit on it earlier, when Van de Ven's out and Romero's out, drop the line a little bit. You don't have to play a high line when both, especially when Van de Ven's out. That's when Ange should tactically have a bit of nice and say, okay, I'm going to drop the line. And to be fair, he started to do it a bit towards the end of the season. but by then it's too late. You know, for me, when Van der Ven's out, drop the line, don't play so high. And yeah, for me, definitely the high line.
I think
I
for me,
agree.
it's two parts. So when Van der Ven and Romero are not playing, 100%, you have to drop it. I mean, I don't want to see Davies running back. Come on, guys. You know, like I you know, I got married 5 years ago, and I'm twice the size of when I, you know, between now and when I got married, but I'm still faster than Davies. Like, I do not want to see Davies running back trying to chase the ball. That's the first one. So I fully agree. The second thing is when everyone is fit, you know, and we you know, that goes back to the part about inverting our wing backs. When I'm watching Pep invert his wing backs, what you'll see is Rodri drops into the defense to make it a 3. So that covers your flanks and then the middle. What we do is when our inverted fullbacks invert and push up, Bentancur goes on a merry-go-round. Bissouma, I see, you know, jogging around on the left-hand side, and we're left with 2 people at the back, 2 players at the back. So when we get hit on transition, it's a wrap. And that, to me, it's as clear as day. But what do I know? Maybe I haven't, you know, I haven't got my coaching badges, so maybe I'm just being naive. But to me, it's just so clear.
I agree, Manny. I agree on that one. The high line is a problem to me, yeah, because even with injuries, yeah, right, he still could persist playing with the high line. Even when we didn't have defenders playing, natural defenders playing, he was still playing with the high line. That's a problem to me. I watch games. I watched games where, like you said, the midfield is just split apart because one ball in the middle, and just watching that and just thinking, you haven't got you have got no one to protect your defense. And another one I didn't like here was early in the season, we weren't closing men down. We were allowing men to go to come at us and shoot. And you're thinking, close the guy down. Don't allow them to shoot. Don't allow them to have shots off. Because sooner or later, yeah, I could have a deflection or anything, yeah, and end up in the back of our net. So there was multiple problems I had, but one of the biggest one was the high line and playing Archie Gray in the high line. Why would you do that? Why would you put him in a disadvantage when you know he's not a natural central defender? Why would you do that to him?
I mean, I think Ange did drop the line back a bit, but it wasn't enough, was it? It wasn't
Yeah,
enough.
even the Goose is a natural defender. He's just a box standard defender. He can't run back to save his life. And no disrespect to him, because that's not his game. All he wants here, right, is to sit back and just defend. That's his game. So why would you do that? Here's another one of why would you expose his weaknesses?
Anybody know the answer to that? I haven't got it. This just obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's obvious. I think he himself realized it was quite obvious. Too late, but he's definitely realized to a certain extent. And I must say, sorry, just one. You know, you could call it tactical, non-tactical personnel, because I've seen someone in the chat mention it, and I just got flashbacks because it's one of my biggest pet peeve about us at the moment. We play a system that needs natural wingers, both left and right. And I know PSG, they've got much more money, much more money than us, etc. But when I'm watching them, as soon as the ball goes to any of their wingers, be it Kvaratskhelia or Doué or Dembele, on whichever side, the first thing they're thinking of, I'm taking on my man. And when they do that, it creates space. Our wingers, the first thing they think of when you pass them the ball is, I'm going to pass it back. And I'm like, I don't know whose job it is, but guys, please fix it this summer. I've just got a notification from Sky Sports that we've been offered Sane. Please fix it, because we cannot. I love Johnson. He's going to be a folk hero, whatever. But let's be real. He's not a conventional winger. Sonny's legs are gone, so we need to fix that.
Manny, how many wingers have Tottenham bought here since Ange has been here? Because this is another pet peeve of mine as well. How many wingers have Tottenham bought?
2?
No.
A few.
It's a
Our
lot
best,
more than that.
our best winger is at
Really?
Leeds.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, guys, look, there's so many flaws, isn't there? There's so many flaws to his tactics. High line, inverted fullbacks. Oh, guys, we could go on all night. It's just not worked, has it? And the frustrating thing is, and maybe Paul can answer this for us. You know, we've seen how kind of defensive we can be in the Europa League. Why didn't it just play like that in the Premier League, Paul?
You tell me. I have no idea. I mean, he's probably going to play a lot more like that in the league next season, because I can guarantee you he's staying, and he has to play like that in the league. Otherwise, people would just stop going, and they'll just put their tickets on the ticket exchange, and then you go to the cup games. So, with a few new signings, we will be fine next season. We'll finish a lot higher up, probably win the FA Cup, and get to the knockout stages of the Champions League, and that's it.
Well,
So-
if he plays like that, he'll get sacked. He'll get sacked very quickly.
Look,
Why?
I think so. I genuinely think that Levy's
For what reason?
if he keeps losing games in the league like he's done in this year, he's
No, I
gone.
just said he won't keep losing games like he did this year.
I don't think he will, and I'm hoping he doesn't, and I hope he changes, because obviously I back him wholeheartedly. But if he does not change, he definitely will.
Totally. If he goes, the first 6 games and loses 4 or only loses 3, he'll still be gone by Christmas for sure, if not sooner. I
okay,
get that.
so let's answer this question. Did Spurs ever show any signs of progression in the Premier League, or was it a downward spiral since last season? Has anybody seen any progression?
For me, the answer is no.
Of course not. How can you say they've progressed when they finished 12 places lower than last season?
So this
Yeah,
is why there's a question around, should Ange, even though he won the Europa League, is if he should be still in charge. Like Levy didn't come out in his statement and say, look, we're going to back Ange next season. What's going on?
Why should he have to say that? The manager's got a 4-year contract. He shouldn't have to
Oh.
say anything.
But don't you think fans are confused? They don't know what's going on. Fans need to know.
Well, there's not much communication, is there, between ENIC and the fan base? We know that. They're very poor at their PR. Their communication is zero. Apart from your message in the last day program, there's nothing from Daniel Levy. But Postecoglou will be there next season, and it will be a lot nicer. You've got to remember, he's the only manager in the last 40 years that's won us a trophy in Europe. And for that, he deserves our respect. And another season.
Paul, sorry, I just got to stop you 1 second. Sorry, mate. Manny, thanks for coming on, man.
No, thanks for having me, man.
Love you, Manny.
Really, really love it. Yeah.
Take care of yourself, man. We'll speak to you soon.
Mate.
All right, love guys. I might have to join Manny as well. I need to go get something. I'll see you guys later as well.
They can't take the positivity, these boys. They just can't take it.
Buddy.
See you later, Philly. Thanks for jumping on, man.
I'll speak to you later.
Take it easy.
Hilarious, you guys. I was on a pod on the way to Bilbao, and they were all going, I want him sacked at the final whistle, whether we win or not. And that is the daftest thing I think I've ever heard. So gonna have to go some to beat that. You can't sack a manager that's just won your European trophy. You just can't do it.
So Paul, look, that's your point of view, right? And that's many fans' point of view.
It is now, isn't it? There's been a lot of flip-flopping in the last few days.
Look, I think I'm worried if Ange is still here next season. I am. I'm very concerned.
Sure. I think we've all got a right to be concerned, because for a lot of you, you always said top 4 isn't a trophy. We need a trophy. As soon as he gets you a trophy, but we're not top 4. So obviously it's a no-win situation. He's got the trophy. Now we can kick on. But ENIC needs to back
I don't think you're right there, ENIC. Definitely need to back him. But I don't think a lot of fans were like, we need top 4. I think if we'd finished 9th and won the Europa League, I think most fans I think 99% of fans would have been brilliant. That's fantastic. It's the fact that we finished 17th and we've been goddamn awful in the league.
But what difference between 9th and 17th? Monetarily, not a lot, because we're going to get 140 million plus from the being in the Champions League and all the other benefits, the Super League game, whatever they're going to call it, the cup game, other cup games. It's just, it's going to be phenomenal.
Again, I get your point, but then Ange has come out and said so many times, everyone who loves Ange, mentality, club mentality. Where's the mentality? We want to win games. Yet the fans are like, who cares? We finished 17th. It's like, well, where's the mentality? We want to finish as high as possible, surely.
Yeah, and I think this season was a blip when you think where we finished. But you've got to go back a few years to when we were last doing this well in Europe and where we finished. Okay, with Pochettino, when we got to the final, I think we finished 3rd or 4th, which was amazing, wasn't it? But in other years, with Berkenshaw, I'm going way back now, but Berkenshaw, we finished 13th, 14th when we won the Europa League or UEFA Cup, as it was called back then. And I can't remember where.
9th, I think, that season.
Yeah, and and when Nicholson won the Cup Winners' Cup in 60 whatever, we finished mid-table then as well. You can't. We don't have a big enough squad, and once you've got all those injuries and the spine of your team is missing, and you've got a goalkeeper who breaks his ankle against Man City, even though we win 4-0, we just didn't have the luck like we have done before, maybe. But I think at the end of the day, he's won the trophy. He needs to be given another season, just because you can't sack a manager. And who would you bring in?
There's Glasner. There's Oliver Glasner. Sorry to just interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. The main event. When I heard a load of rubbish, I just had to come in. I love this. I love these Ash fans. I love them.
Good. I love you too. You were one of the guys. You're one of the guys who wanted him sacked at full time.
I still wanted stats. Even though I said that. Even though I said that, I gave him credit. But anyway, by the way, when you said 17th, it don't really matter if you're 17th or 9th. It does matter. It does matter.
Tell me why it matters.
Because of revenue. Because of revenue, mate. You know what I mean? So I don't know where you're going with it. No, it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Honestly, I've never heard such absolute nonsense in my entire life.
Nowhere close.
Oliver Glasner, right? Yeah, the main event's still speaking, bro, because the main event's just done in 5 minutes while you're doing it an hour. Let's do it 5 minutes, yeah? Right? Oliver Glasner, right, won the FA Cup, right, and played his full team every single game. You know what I mean? He's improved Eze, the Qua, what is it? Was it the forward? Yeah, who's absolutely useless before he came in. Yeah, right. That defense is well drilled. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I see players that are improving. No one's improved from this manager, right? Okay, he got lucky in Europa League. Yes, he did well against Frankfurt, but he knew what time it was. Yeah, I said we're going to beat Bodo Glimt. We beat Bodo Glimt. I said we're going to beat Man United. We beat Man United by just. I told you it was going to be a shit game. It was a shit game.
All finals are shit games, unless it's
I know, but that's the point. That's the point. So we're basing this on emotion from fan base, because we won a trophy, and base it on just making this fan base happy, not facts. And facts is this guy's lost 22 games. 22 games, yeah? So if we're going to start looking at not emotional, right, which is what Daniel Levy should be judging it on, right? And even the manager said it himself, yeah? He said, if you didn't like me before the final, why are you keeping me now after the cup final? Why are you keeping me now? You know what I mean?
Why didn't you get rid of him at Christmas when we were obviously doing really badly?
Ask that question to Daniel Levy. But like I said, right? Okay, if we're basing it on this cup final, it's the wrong decision. I just need to remind you of one manager, and that's it. One day Ramos. Look how that worked out for us, yeah? Right? And people are saying, oh, it's going to be brilliant season 3. How many points do we have to catch up, to make ourselves actually decent this next season? Because it's a lot of points, by the way. 38 points, which 5 years ago would have got you relegated. And that's the reason why he's had the luxury of concentrating on Europa League. You know what I mean? That's why. Because if any of those teams were actually better than they were, right, he wouldn't be putting second teams out in Premier League. Trust me. Yeah? Because trust me, if he's relegated and Europa League, it ain't looking good on his record. I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah? You know what I mean? And try that in Champions League when we're supposed to be Europa League winners. Yeah? So he ain't going to be doing that next season. You know what I mean? Because you're in Champions League and you're Europa League winners. Yeah? We should be chest up saying, yeah, we're Europa League winners now. Yeah? That's what we should be doing.
Breathe. Would you
Bro, don't patronise the main event, bruv. This is how I speak, bro. Yeah, get used to it. Yeah, if you don't know, get to know that, bruv. Yeah,
That's
come back
right.
to me.
I don't need to, mate.
Come back to me some facts in, bruv. Yeah, come back to me about some facts in.
Let me ask you a question and stop ranting. Would you?
I'm not ranting, bro. I'm talking my truth, bruv. So say something rather than abusing me. Come back with some football, bruv. Yeah, because at the moment, I'm winning the argument. At the moment, you're just getting rattled. So tell me something.
You can only win an argument when you don't let other people speak. Okay.
Well, bro, say something to me then.
Have a bit of respect for an elder.
Well, say something back then. Say something back rather than abusing me. Then
shut the fuck up, and I will.
I'm definitely not going to shut up now.
Right, Alex, let him ask you a question.
Alex, Mr. Box Office, Mr. BO, how about we finish 17th next season and win a trophy?
Not good enough.
Bro, that's not good enough.
Why?
That's not good enough.
Why is it not good enough? It's a trophy.
So you're telling me that you're happy with 17th?
We've always been a cup team. We're never going to win the
team.
league again in my lifetime. Okay, we know that. Maybe in your lifetime we might get close, but in my lifetime, no chance. Okay, so good luck with trying to win the league.
I never said win the league, though, bro. What are you talking about, win the league?
Well, what are you saying we're going to do then? What is it? What is it you actually want to happen,
bro? The fact is, right. We should be at least getting 7th or getting at least into the top 10 with the squad what we got. You telling me we're not better than Brentford's squad? You telling me we're not better than Bournemouth's squad? You telling me that we're not better than Nottingham Forest's squad? Yeah.
Did Brentford, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest have to contend with 2 games a week, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, throughout most of the season because they were in the semi-final of the Carabao and in the semi-final of the Europa? 3 semi-finals.
Who are we? Who are we? We're supposed to be a top team. We got 5th last season. The season we got 1 game a week, and you're starting comparing us to Bournemouth and Brentford. Brentford and Bournemouth, right? I've only been in the Premier League how long? How long have we been in the Premier League for? We're supposed to be a top team, and you're saying, "Oh, we can't do 10." Oh, they didn't have 2 games a week. No, they're not going to have 2 games a week because they're still trying to make themselves up there. Back in the day, right? We knew exactly what the season was going to be. We've been in Champions League, we've been in Europa League for a long time now. So we knew what we were going to get ourselves into. So I don't know where we're coming with this, saying, "Oh, we can't cope with 2 ways a week." Well, they don't know that yet. You know what I mean? They've got 2 managers that actually improve their squads. Yeah.
Let's see how well they do next season.
And make excuses every single time, and you're just showing it right now. You're saying, "Oh, what? They don't play 2 games a week."
Maybe we'll see next season. Next season when they play 2 games a week.
Well, Crystal Palace were able to do 2 games a week, and they had the FA Cup with the most important game in their lifetime. Yeah, and they still got it done.
No, the FA Cup's played at weekends normally.
So yeah, but still they were able to cope with that.
So they weren't having 2 games a week. You've just contradicted yourself.
But they're able to cope with the FA Cup though.
They're able to cope with the FA Cup. Multiple competitions. That's probably the right way.
That's the point. Yeah. So I don't know where we're going with this.
We were in 3 competitions. They were in 2.
I think, Paul, you want to keep Ange because he's won that trophy. That's it. There's nothing really else other than...
Only because he's the first manager. Forget Conte, Mourinho, Pochettino, and all the others that have gone before him. None of them could succeed where he has just succeeded, okay? And for that reason, he stays. And we see what happens next season. And at the end of his contract, it'll either be Gareth Southgate or Mauricio Pochettino that comes sailing through the doors to save us again, okay? But we can't keep having rebuilds every 18 months. What's the point?
Okay, sorry. I love this guy. He gives me so much energy. Right. Oh, this is why I love it. But rebuilds. Right. Okay, we've got the generational talent of Tom Burval. We've got Archie Gray that's doing nothing. We've got Jed Spence, right, who's supposedly the next up and coming. Right. We've got Van der Ven. We've got Adoji. We've got Poro. Right, we got what is it? Vicario, right? We've got Kinski, right? We've got Alderbear that's supposed to be the future, right? So I mean, I don't know where we're saying that we're going to start again. This team can play a back three all day long, which is the same thing that we did in the bloody final. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We've got two players that can play in a double pivot in Basuma and Bentancur. We've got wing backs, not fullbacks in bloody Adoji and Poro. You know what I mean? Yeah, sorry, Paul, that you can't take this energy, but this is what I do. Energy, yeah, because I've just been benching, but that's the point. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you know, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we don't need to start again. This is the thing I hear from Ange fans. Honestly. And also, I went
Okay.
to City Splash, by the way, as well, because I like my Caribbean music. But anyway, moving on yesterday, because I didn't want to talk about Ange for the upkeep time about the same thing every single day. But the point is, though,
You like soccer and soca. That's great.
yeah,
Well done.
soca music. That's what it's called. Yeah, Caribbean music. You know what I mean?
I
You
know,
should
mate.
try it sometime. But the point is, though, yeah.
Hello, I've worked in the music industry for 35 years. I think I know what soca music is.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. Sorry, mate. I don't know you personally. But the point is, though, yeah. Get back to the point, because I had to make it as quick for my boys here up there. But the point is, though, yeah. Right, is that this manager has not shown me anything to show me that he can't do it. Any manager, I tell you, any coach
He just
can get
won
the
a
best out of this
trophy.
player.
What is it he hasn't shown you?
He hasn't shown me in the last 2 years what he's got. All he's got, right, is that he's got a system, and he does. I don't even think it was him that was doing those tactics. I don't think it was him. No, it wasn't him, because if it was him, it would involve his tactics and keep on doing it in the Premier League. We've not had 22 losses, mate. You know what I mean? Sorry. That's all I've got to say, man. Back to you, Dan. I'm done. I don't want to take too much of the time, and that's it. Take care.
Love you. Love your energy.
Take care, boys.
Stay positive.
Well, I'm positive, Bob. I was at City Splash enjoying myself, bruv. You know what I mean? Because I know how to enjoy myself, bruv. Big up Nige, man. Still looking good, bruv. Big up Dan.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right.
Take care, Bob. And take care, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Respect.
Oh, it's all right.
Sorry, guys. That got a bit personal, but yeah, okay.
All right.
I can't,
Okay.
you can't reason with people. I'm not going to change my point of view. They're not going to change their point of view. We're just, it is what it is.
Okay, let's ask a question to everyone on the panel and in the chat. Yeah, let's get the chat involved as well. Let's ask a question. Probably the best way to do it. Let me just find one. So this is one which really concerns me. Do you trust Ange to fix the issues next season? Or this is just Ange? He just only can be in one competition.
This is my biggest concern, is that he struggled with the league and the Europa League. Obviously, we went quite deep in the League Cup as well. Champions League is a step up from the Premier League. If he struggled with the Premier League and Europa League, how is he going to manage the Champions League and the Premier League? For me, that's a real concern, and this is why, like I said, I'd like to see someone maybe with more experience in the Champions League come in and take us over. I just think he's really going to struggle. But as we've already said, I think we all kind of think he's probably going to be here next season. So it's going to be one of these where we wait and see. But for me, it's a real problem, and Ange needs to fix it. Whether it's the squad, I do think the squad has something to do with it. Getting rid of players like Højbjerg and even Skip, and replacing them with Gray, effectively, and Bergval. As we did get injuries and it did leave us short, but there's no way we should be finishing that low. Yeah, next season's a real problem for me. I'm really concerned about it.
Paul? No concerns at all?
I'm not concerned because I think he will be given. They will learn the lessons they made when they didn't back Pochettino, and they won't let that happen a second time. I think they will splash the cash. I think some decent players will come in, whether it's Gui to replace Romero, or whether we get Eze, or we get Wharton. If we could sign, as Ash said before the final, if we could sign some experienced players to go with the youngsters to teach them, that would be great. And I think we will do well next season. I think we're going to win a trophy. I think it'll probably be the FA Cup. We've never won a trophy in the year ending in 6 before, but then we'd never won a trophy in the year ending 5 before. So it's all good. And
Paul,
I
I
think
find it very difficult for you to not say you're not concerned at all. Come on.
what is there to be concerned about? We've
We
just won a trophy.
Yes, but we just finished
We're in the
17th in the
Champions
league.
League. We will
Yes,
attract better players for that alone.
Paul.
If we'd finished 5th or 6th, not 6th, if we'd finished 7th or 8th or whatever, we wouldn't have attracted the players we're going to attract. That's got to be the truth, surely.
You got no concern that we just lost 22 games.
No, because we won a trophy.
Yeah,
And that was the reason we lost
that was a
22
fine
games.
line, Paul. There was a very fine line, wasn't it? We could have lost it, and then the season would have been a complete disaster.
But we
So what
didn't
would you have
lose
said
it.
then?
We put all our eggs in one basket.
No,
and it
but what
came-
if that
we came
happened?
through.
So what would have been your thoughts on Ange if we had lost that final?
If we'd lost that final, it would have been the worst season in the history of Spurs since they got relegated. For
So
sure.
you must have concerns then, because it shouldn't be down to the wire. A season down to the wire on that one game.
No, but I think next season it'll be a lot more comfortable. We won't be sitting in the bottom 6. We'll be sitting mid-table for most of the season whilst we pursue another trophy with better players.
Would you, if someone put a gun to your head, there was
Yeah.
this manager, a better manager than Ange, a more experienced manager than Ange, a better tactical manager than Ange, would you take him over Ange?
I would only take Glasner if he brought Eze, Wharton, and Gui with him.
So
All
that's
three
a
of
yes.
all
So that's
three
a
of
yes.
them.
You
Only
would
if he
take a
brought
better manager.
if he brought all 3 of those players with him, yeah.
Okay,
But it's not going to happen.
Forget the players. Say there is a manager on the table like a Xavi, Glasner. Yeah, well, we can get him. Would you take that? Would you make that decision to get a better manager than Ange?
Okay, I tell you who I don't consider better managers right now.
It's a yes or no.
The Bournemouth manager, the Fulham manager, the Palace manager. Why would we want any of those guys? None of them have won a European trophy.
Glasner has.
Okay, he has, and so has Mr. Aston Villa, whatever his name is.
Emery.
Good Ebony, yeah. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
Would you though, Paul? It's a simple yes or no.
Would I take Gareth Southgate?
No. Would you take a better manager than Ange to lead us forward next season into the Champions League?
Only because none of the previous managers we've had who are winners, Conte, Mourinho, obviously spring to mind, were absolutely rubbish when it came to being at Spurs because they couldn't
is
work.
that a yes or a no, Paul?
It's a no. I
You
wouldn't
wouldn't?
take anyone else but Ange right now because he has done what he said he would do in his second season, mate, and we are now in the Champions League. However we got there, that's the way it is. And next season will not be the stressful season that we had this season. We won't have as many injuries, get a new medical team. We've got Paratici coming back in, and it will be a lot easier signing players than it was this season. And they'll sign some decent, experienced players. Ronaldo's on the market. Maybe we'll get Ronaldo up front.
Look, you're not the only one who wants Ange still here, Paul. There are many. There's probably more people who want Ange now in. Yeah, you're not the
In
only
the
one.
In the stadium after the game last Wednesday, they were singing more for Ange than any of the players. It was all Ange. And on Sunday and on Friday at the parade, it was the same again. Lots of singing for Ange. And on Sunday at the game, it was all singing for Ange until the screen showed a picture of Levy, at which point everyone started booing. So, the crowd are behind Ange. They've flip-flopped. They've come back in because of that one night. The happiness that one night has brought everyone, has papered over those cracks that we know exist. And we know there's a lot wrong. but I want Postecoglou to be the man who puts it right. And I'm thinking, I mean, I renewed my season ticket today, and I think that if Postecoglou goes between now and the start of next season, I will feel cheated.
Look, my view is completely opposite to you, Paul.
I know.
I would, I'm not going to be sentimental about giving Ange another few months in the job just because he won that trophy. When you get down to it, that league form is, I can't experience that ever again. Defeat every week, no progression, looking a mess, looking at embarrassment of a side. Yes, we won Europa League, amazing day, and thank you, Ange. Yeah, thank you. But
You know, we won 24 games this season. You forget that, don't you?
I'm looking at the league table. That's the bread and
Well,
butter.
I'm looking at the bigger picture of everything and throwing in. Okay,
Paul, Tottenham Hotspur should be competing near the top end of the league, yeah, right, and trying to win a trophy. That's what we
yes,
should be doing.
agreed.
Yes, right.
Totally
So
agreed.
we're not doing that, are we? At the moment, not this season. We haven't done
We
it.
didn't do it this season because we had a paper thin squad. It wasn't deep enough, and what else can I tell you? We were in too many competitions. Maybe we should have binned off the Caribou earlier.
Paul, you never highlight Ange's. Ange is not perfect. You know he's got flaws. You
I
never
think he
highlight
knows he's not perfect.
Yeah, but you never highlight Ange's flaws. You just kind of like
No,
let it go over
because
your head.
I only see the positives, whereas
But
you only see the negatives.
You've got to be objective, right? Like, for example, I praised Ange for going defensive in the Europa. Yeah, and then I questioned. I said, "Well, why didn't you play like that in the Premier League?"
I
Right?
can't
Where
tell
with
you.
there's just no either way. It's just Ange is amazing. Ange has won us a trophy. I struggle to understand why you can't see where he's gone wrong in the league. You just blame it on injuries, lack of squad. What about tactics? What about setting up a team to get results? What about managing the squad he's got? What about improving players? What about any of that?
I don't think there were many games he got wrong tactically. I think there were games where better teams beat us. You can't win every game,
No, you can't.
right? So you've got to realise that, you know, we beat Man City 4-0 away. We beat Man United 3-0 away. We beat Southampton 5-0. We beat Villa 4-1. We beat West Ham 4-1. We beat Everton 4-0. There were plenty of... We finished on -1 goal in our goal difference. For a team to finish 17th on only -1, that's one for the record books as well. And if we hadn't lost 4-1 and only lost 3-1 on Sunday, when they were all hungover, we would have finished on 0 goal difference, just like Palace did, and just like Bournemouth did, or whoever else it was in mid-table that finished on 0. So, you know, we should have been... That table does lie, because overall, if you look at the goals we scored and the goal difference, we should have been finishing around 11th, would have been about fair. But that's not good enough. We know that. But it was all binned off for the Europa League, and that's what we've now have. A trophy, which is better season than Arsenal have had. Okay?
Yeah, it is. It is better than Arsenal. You're right. And so, what about, like, I listen to a lot of people, not just Spurs fans. I listen to rival fans. I listen to pundits. You know, we see across social media, on the TV. I listen to a lot of people, and they are saying that there's no way, even though we've won the Europa League, that Ange should keep the job. Yeah, and they're neutral, right? They ain't got any. They don't care about Spurs. Right?
I've heard people like Alan Shearer and other pundits saying he should keep the job. So, you know, a lot of it is clickbait, and a lot
No,
of it...
these are professional ex-footballers.
So you're going to
People who
listen
are
to
on
what Paul
Rover.
Merson thinks, are you? So Paul Merson...
No, not Paul Merson. No, there's a
Okay.
number of people. I'm talking about rival fans, just
Mhm.
people who go on YouTube. I'm talking about what I hear on Talk Sports, Sky Sports, a number of podcasts. If you actually look at it, 17th, 22 defeats is unacceptable for Tottenham Hotspur. And they're saying if there's a massive risk if you keep Ange in the job, that what is going to improve, because clearly he struggles to manage in multiple competitions. Now, take aside the Spurs fans' view, look at other people's views.
Okay, and here's a view for you that I heard on TalkSport on Monday by the two guys in the afternoon whose names I won't mention. One used to play for us, the other one's a dick. But they said Amorim should keep his job, even though he lost the Europa League final,
Yeah, because he hasn't had a transfer window.
and 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 Postecoglou should lose his job, even though he won Europa League. Make that make sense to me? It does not make sense. Why should Amorim, who lost, keep his job? Postecoglou, who won, lose his job?
Amarin has just taken charge, and he hasn't spent 400 million like Ange, has he?
I think you'll find that was more to do with Scott Munn and Lang, who spent that money. I don't think that was. I don't think that was Postecoglou spending that money.
Paul, you just kill me. Fair play to you, man. You know,
If Man United lost
you
Bruno
don't want to
Fernandes
criticize
like
Ange.
we
You don't want
lost
to
Harry
criticize
Kane,
Ange. Okay,
I'm
I
not
get
gonna.
it.
How can I criticise him less than a week after we just won our first Europa Trophy in
Yeah,
41
because it's not
years?
just. It's about looking at the season in a whole. Like you couldn't have been happy going to the stadium every week getting battered.
No, I'll
Yeah?
tell you when I wasn't happy, when Conte and Mourinho were there, and we couldn't bear to watch the football.
So
And
you were happier. You were happier
we
getting
stayed on the
battered every week.
concourse.
Paul,
During
you cannot tell me that as a paying fan, a season ticket holder, going to watch your team lose week in, week out, that you were okay with it.
I didn't see us lose all the games we lost because sometimes I got lucky and my ticket sold on the exchange. But, I saw us lose more than I saw us win. That's for sure. 10 home defeats, was it?
Worst.
Oh, do you enjoy the Ange style of football?
Back in one sec, guys.
Do I
Yeah.
enjoy Ange's style of football? No, because he wasn't
Yeah.
playing. No, I don't like that high risk football at all. I don't like the tippy tappy at the back between the fullbacks and the goalkeeper. There's a lot I don't like about his football. But again, Nige, he won us a trophy. No one else has done that, and that's
Yeah, and
why.
it's hard to argue against a manager that's won a trophy, but at the same time, like I say, it would be so much easier if he had finished mid-table and had lost 15 and had won an extra 5 or 6. But being that poor, 17th, no other team has lost that many games and not been relegated.
But you know why
And
we finished 17th? Because he
no, I
binned it
can't
off.
accept that. I can't accept that though, Paul, because like I said last season when we played City and a lot of Spurs fans wanted us to lose, then he was like, what about the mentality? The Spurs fans, where's your mentality? And then he's openly coming out and said that I've
Yeah.
been the league off to win. I think it's an excuse. I think
That's
it's just a
that's
cop out.
extremely hypocritical of him to say that, and I don't agree with everything he says, believe it or not. But I agree with a lot of what he says. He's taken so much crap for journalists to sit at a press conference. That these are respected head of sport, Evening Standard journalists like Dan, and ask him, "Do you think you're going to be thought of as a clown?" I mean, that's outrageous. You wouldn't ask that to any other manager. Why would you ask it to Ange
No.
Postecoglou? It's
So
just
going
like
forward,
the disrespect is
it
real.
looks like
Mm.
Ange is staying.
Yep.
So what do you want to see next season? If you had, let's say you got 3 players to bring in, who's your 3?
Well, I'd love Eze to come in, obviously, but I don't know. I think we might be lucky to get one of those 3 at Crystal Palace. Where Wharton would be the better signing because that's what we need in our midfield. We probably need another forward. I don't know who. Maybe Liam Delap seems like he's going somewhere else. I'm hearing that we're going to get Tyler Dibbling from Southampton. I don't think he's good enough yet. He's another, Tell stroke
Maybe.
Scarlet stroke, stroke whoever who isn't quite ready yet. I'd like to see Mikey Moore get more game time, but then again, he'll probably now go on loan next season. But another signing, I don't know. There must be someone out there that we can sign that's going to be the game changer. It's a
Yeah.
harder question to ask me who I'd like to get rid of because there's a long list.
Go on then. Who would
Start
you like to get rid of?
well, Timo Werner for starters. I think we can
Well, yeah,
safely
he's
say
going anyway, isn't he?
we can safely say he's gone. Uh,
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's time for Sonny to hang up his boots, even though he's the legend that he is. He's just running on empty.
Right. Let's get another question.
Go on then. Oh, here we
What
go. Our fans mostly driven by the trophy, ignoring the big picture. No, the bigger picture is we won the trophy, not the other way round.
In your opinion.
Well, yeah, of course it is, in my opinion. I'm not going to come round and start flip-flopping like you guys.
Well, I haven't flip-flopped.
No,
When
you
have I
haven't.
flip-flopped?
But there's been plenty that have. There's plenty that have.
Look, Paul, you may think, I know you came on the show at the beginning and you're like, told you so, and fair enough, whatever. Yeah. I mean, we're as Spurs fans, we're all happy we won that trophy.
I also won
Yeah,
a lot of
we are.
money, so we're all good.
Yeah. So look, I don't like this. I told you so, and all of this. You know, maybe it's just a bit of a laugh. Maybe that's what you think it is, a bit of a joke or whatever. That's fine. We're all happy we won that trophy, which was amazing, unexpected after a dreadful season we've had in the league. So it's great. It's fantastic. It's, it made me smile. Yeah. And I haven't been
Good.
smiling
You
this
should
season.
be happy.
Yeah.
You should be happy. I've supported Spurs through thin and thin, as I keep telling you, since 1970. Here's the program for my first game.
Look.
So
And let's be real, Paul. Spurs have not done enough. 17 years. It's too long, isn't it?
Of course, it's too long.
Mm.
But how about now we've got the new Arsenal guy in as the CEO, and he brings in Sol Campbell as manager? Would you be all right with that?
That's a silly question. Of course not.
I think that's happening.
That's your worst nightmare come true. So there you are.
Look, Paul. All I want, I know we disagree on.
I've
A
got
number
5
of
minutes
things.
left, by the way. My wife's calling me to come and watch
Yeah,
Michelle
I
Moan
know we
part 2.
disagree. At the end of the day, I just want the best for the team. Yeah, I want us to push on now. I want winning this trophy, an opportunity for the club to, invest into the squad by
Yeah.
quality, by experience. If
Yeah.
Ange is here, if Ange is not here, all you want is the board to do more.
They bought in Edgar Davids. They bought in Van der Vaart, sorry. They bought in other experience along the way. They just need to do it again. And I'm sure they will. I have complete faith.
Let's hope so.
But not just one. You need 3 or 4 top players coming into this team to push on next year, especially we're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Now, I've got major concerns tactically if Ange can do it.
Do you think Harry Kane might come back?
No.
He had to leave us to win a trophy. We had to let him leave for us to win a trophy. That's about right, isn't it?
I mean, it's crazy. It's like Son lifting that trophy. It's, amazing. He's he's been a good servant to the club. What's he been here 10 years? Something like that.
And Ben Davis.
Years, yeah.
Yeah. And for him to lift that trophy was, it was wonderful. Wonderful to watch. I'm so happy for him and for everybody. That Ben Davis been at the club a long time as well. It's good to see him get a trophy at his time.
Did you cry on Wednesday night?
Of course.
Good. Did you cry, Nige?
Oh,
Be a man.
I'm a man. No,
Yeah.
no, I had a lump in my throat when my son rang me. But
lovely.
Yeah, it was definitely emotional. It's definitely an
The
emotional
17
night.
years of hurt came out. We got that monkey off our back.
Yeah, it's nice.
It was fantastic. And yeah, this club really messes with your mind, doesn't it? Like, it really does. Yeah, it's been tough. It's been a hard season, overall. Fantastic. And this was the title of the show: Pain for Months, then Pure Joy. And I think that kind of summarizes the season.
Yep, totally. It's the weirdest season I can ever remember by a long way.
Paul, you've got to jump. So, any final thoughts of the night?
No, I love your viewpoint. I don't agree with it, but I'm pleased that you are open to listening to other opinions, and we all share the same love for our great club. And all we want between us is success.
Yeah.
And I think we have to just be patient, and it will come. Build it, and it will come. That stadium's 6 years old now. I mean, how much longer do we have to wait to see another season where we go unbeaten at home in the league? Could be a while, but we're going to do much better next. We'll do much better next season. And I'll see you at Wembley for the final, the FA Cup final. All right.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks for coming
on. Take care. Thanks a lot.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
See you later.
Cheers.
Hey.
Jesus.
Me and you.
There you go. back to the originals.
Well, this is me and you. We
Yeah,
just
geez.
started it, didn't we? Back in when? Was it August? Our first show together? Or was it September?
August or September, yeah. Yeah. So, long time
I
ago
mean,
now. It feels like ages, doesn't it? It feels like years.
what, when it was just me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, remember the days when it was just me and you and two people watching?
Yeah.
and
Sometimes not even that.
sometimes nobody.
Yeah.
But
Good times.
we'll have to start somewhere, eh? We do.
Exactly.
I mean, look, I don't know what to say, man. It's just been a madness. I mean, it's fantastic in the sense that we've, first time on YouTube this season and we've won a trophy. So let's hope that continues, eh?
It's weird, isn't it? Because a week ago we were saying our first year on YouTube and we've literally had the worst season in our history. And now, it's like, oh, we won a trophy. So yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster, isn't it, this season? Lots and lots of downs, but a massive high right at the end, which kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, it does. It
But it's
does.
just
It
where we
does.
go
It
from here.
helps, doesn't it, after the season we've had. Now, look, there's going to be plenty more streams to kind of get into it. We just want to know what the club's doing, right? Don't we? We just need to know, is Ange staying? Is he going? What's going on with the recruitment? My preference is to get a better manager in, and I hope they do. I mean, many, I think more fans, there's a number of polls I've seen that people prefer to keep Ange. Do you think, Nige, that Levy will be swayed by the fans?
No, I think it's a difficult one now because the season's over and there won't be people in the ground. I think he won't really take a lot of notice of what the fans think. So I just think Ange is going to be there next season.
That your hunch?
Yeah. But you're right. I think as a fan base, we deserve to know either way. If we're keeping Ange, absolutely fine. If that's the case, let us know. Right, Ange is here for the next year, 2 years. We are backing him 100%. This is how we're going to go forward. And if Ange is leaving, then we need to know quickly because, like I said, other teams are getting their ducks in a row. United, Cunha apparently is on his way to United for a medical. They're after another couple of players and Buemo as well and Delap. All players that I wanted at Spurs. Liverpool going in for big players. Other teams are getting players lined up, and I don't want Spurs to be left behind. I know we have been linked with Sane tonight, but yeah.
Let's get some comments up in the chat. Lord Rodney Trotter, evening to you, man. Hope you're good. Hope the little one's all right. Ange is a win-win for Enoch. Back him, and he's an awful reason not to spend again. Don't back. Well, we didn't back him because it's Ange. Yeah, I get that. It's a win. It's why a lot of people said a trophy this season is a death knell for the club. Yeah, it is. Evening to you. Is that Mac? How do you pronounce that, Nige?
Conklin. Is it?
What's that?
Conklin.
Ange bought a Mateta for Celtic and he just scored 34 this season and looks like he's on the move this summer.
Oh yeah. Looks like
Mahida.
I'm surprised Ange didn't go for any of his Celtic players. To be fair.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Maybe there was an agreement that if he left, he couldn't take him. But you won't take my bet, Paul. Subdue light, true, but also flirting with relegation is certainly not a good way for income or stature. It is. I mean, some fans are worried that we could be drawn into a relegation battle next season because, we're going to be in all those competitions. We probably get injuries again if Ange continues to play that that system, the high line inverted fullbacks. We've had it in the last two seasons, right, Nige? Romero, Van der Ven have suffered injuries, a number of players. Unless Ange changes up his way of playing, I just don't know. I really don't know what he's going to do, because he has set up the team to defend well. But I do think at the other end, we've struggled to create clear-cut chances. So he hasn't got that balance right. This is another worry for me. Yes, you can defend well, but look at the quality of opposition we played. Bodo Glimt, Man United. If that was anybody better with good tactical, attacking players, we would have got beaten, because we only created one shot against Manchester United in that final. And it worries me.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it really worries me next year with Ange. It really does.
Yeah,
and
we are either we're either all out attack, where we're not even really attacking, but players are all over the place and we're caught out of position and we give up chances for fun, or we are ultra defensive, where we don't even look like scoring. Look at us in our last 3 or 4 league games. We were like powder puff up front. There was nothing at all. We're just waiting to concede. Palace, we did nothing. Villa, we did pretty much nothing. Odegaard had a shot. That's about it. It's just been really disappointing. So you're right, the balance isn't right. So we've got to sort that. If Ange's staying in the summer, he's got to sort that balance out.
Oh dear. Hotspur Sam, evening to you. What's Dan's channel? Is that me?
So it's fine. He's found it now.
Oh, that's good. Just going to read out some comments. Big ups. CEM. Van der Vaart wasn't a plan by. Pure Levy last minute opportunism. Yeah, it was. It came up and he grabbed it. Up hands, Popper. Be up, Mark. I cried for others. It's in the chat. What's that? Hotspursim. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Aussie Ange is here. Big up Aussie Ange. 17th in the Champions League next season. Anyone? Brilliant. Look, I mean, it was so crucial to win, wasn't it, to get in the Champions League next season? And it could be a really exciting season next year if the club make the right decisions in the recruitment with the manager. It could be massive next season. Just think of those Champions League nights, Nige.
Yeah. The thought of it's terrifying at the moment. Let's see what happens in the summer, who we bring in. But yeah, the thought of our squad playing like Juventus or Barcelona in the Champions League at the moment terrifies me.
Under Ange. That's
under
why,
Ange, terrifies me. But
it does.
Like it's been said on other streams as well, not every team is Barcelona and Juventus. They're going to be weaker sides in the Champions League, and we're just going to have to pick results up against them. And hopefully, look, who knows what we're going to do in the summer with recruitment. We might actually bring some good players in. You never know. Fingers crossed.
What are we going to do next season, Nige? Because we stream Tuesday nights. Thursday night change up.
Yeah, might have to.
Well, maybe not all the time, because obviously we may play on a Wednesday.
Wednesdays, yeah.
Yeah, so we might have to switch it up a little bit. But all good.
It's annoying.
Great show, chaps. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, Cock.
You talked crap, Paul, but well done for coming on. It's a polite way of putting it, eh? Versan, so I found it. Thanks. That was some discussion, guys. Cheers. Not easy at the moment with the fan base so kind of with their different opinions, and now that kind of sudden change over that now people are more behind Ange because of that winning that trophy. There's just so many kind of debates, disagreements around this amongst the fan base of what to do around the manager, and it does create a lot of what's the word, Nige? Creates a lot of division. Yeah, a lot of division. And ideally, you just think that once we win a trophy, everybody will be together, but not with this club. Not with this club.
There's always something to argue about.
Yeah, and I mean it's entertaining stuff. I mean, what I've read and seen over the last few days, I mean, it's crazy the disagreements I've seen. I've tried to keep out of it. I've tried and just kind of keep it on the show to talk about it. But look, yeah, what can I say, man? This club's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Bloody windy tonight. Red sky at night too. Was that a warning?
Good thing.
Was the Ange? Next season, we're going to win the FA Cup and finish 5th. We will struggle in Champions League, but we'll make the quarterfinals, Carabao Cup. We'll make the semis again. Well,
should have just left it at the first bit. Finish
yeah,
5th and win the FA Cup. Finish 5th. That'd do.
yeah. I hope so, man.
That's progression.
I can't see it, unfortunately, with Ange in charge and the board. I can't see it. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. Fran, big up to you. Spurs can never do anything straightforward. No, they don't.
Absolutely.
Someone said it was a Spursiest thing, isn't it? Winning that trophy and coming 17th. So we're still being called Spurs even when we win something. It's crazy.
Even when we're not, yeah.
Hotspur Sam, you're doing any pods in close season now? I found you. Yeah, we probably will do one next Tuesday.
One. Yeah.
Let's try. There's some other people who want to get on the show and hear their opinions. So yeah, why not? Why not? Nige, you up for it next week?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get a couple out during the summer as well. A few transfer ones, maybe. It just won't be every week.
Yeah, I mean, with this whole Ange thing, once we know what's going on, we'll probably do a show. Probably do another one next week. Get some different opinions on to see where their heads are at. Just have a big old chat. Rini B. Knee, I'm off now. Remember, if you choose Ange in, you can attract players who want trophies. If you choose Ange out, you will get players who want money. Interesting the way of looking at it. Because players will see that Spurs have won a trophy finally. But then, come on, players will look at that league performance and Spurs getting beaten up every week. Will that put them off a bit? Interesting question, Nige. Exactly. What do you think?
And Spurs don't really pay the money, do they? So players, if they've got better options anywhere else, Spurs don't pay massive wages. So not sure about that. But yeah, we can definitely attract players that want trophies now because we're winners.
You're a European champion.
Say that, isn't it? We are European champions. Now I get told off for saying that on TikTok all the time because apparently it's not the Champions League.
Oh, we are. It is a great trophy to win. Yeah, you can't play that down. Fantastic, crazy. Ange has earned his right to stay. Yep, many people think he does. Fortunately, not me. Subdue light, pardon. Ange gives up competitions on a whim. It's very arrogant thinking we will be winning the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So, Soul Boy, big up to you. We cannot allow this man to take us into the Championship, but this is the worry, isn't it? We're quite lucky this season. We didn't even reach 40 points, and obviously the 3 teams that came up really had poor seasons. And what you don't want is getting drawn into a relegation battle next season. He'll be gone, Nige. Even if he does stay in the summer, he will be gone if we start losing. Sorry, Nige, go for it.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's the disappointing thing, though, isn't it? If we start the season poorly and he loses 4 out of his first 8, say, or 4 out of his first 6 and gets sacked, we've wasted a summer. And who can we get in then, manager-wise? Because probably most of them be in a job. If we're going to act, we need to act now.
It's massive, isn't it? It's a massive decision.
Yeah,
massive
decision. It's a massive summer ahead for us.
You see it on social media that Ange is going to stay. Then you hear that there's a decision being made. Then you hear that he's got a chance of keeping the job. What's right? What is it, Nige? How do we know?
This is it. It's so difficult. A week ago, it was the easiest decision in the world. Sack him. He's crap. The worst manager we've ever had. Now suddenly we've won that cup, and suddenly everything changes a little bit. I mean, I'm very much still. I'd like to see a new manager.
Yeah.
But people see that shiny trophy that we haven't had in so long, and suddenly he's the man to take us forward. I don't see it, but we're only going to find out later on down the line because I don't see him going now.
Yeah, I just want to know what's going on. 17th is not winning the right way to say. Yeah, 100%. Problem is we are meant to be a big club but act like a small club in so many ways.
Right.
We have done, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, the Ange has proved once again to be a well-beaten manager, and he needs to be backed. We are Spurs and should expect trophies every season. Ange can deliver that no problem. Oh,
He needs to be backed. We're keeping him.
Oh dear. Have a fear of another Paratici, Fonseca, Gattuso, Nuno summer.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's the worry, isn't it, though? If we get rid of him, we're chasing a manager. Are we going to spend 6-7 weeks chasing a manager? And by that time, by the time we get manager in, there's no one left.
And this is
all
what
the
I think
top
they're
sides
doing,
are all the
Nige.
best players.
I think they're trying to get the ones, there's certain couple of managers they want, and they're not going to sack Ange until they've got that agreement. So they're keeping him hanging, aren't they?
Possibly.
Like Ange said,
So.
Nige, Ange said Spurs had an outstanding season.
Yeah, he's nutty, isn't he? He's not all the ticket. I mean, well, he's going to say that because he's won a trophy. And, you know, so many fans believe it because look at the thumbnail. Yeah, we're lifting the UEFA Cup. But let's be real here. You know, we've lost a lot of games this season and we've been pretty rancid for most of it, apart from a cup final.
Oh dear. Exhausting. And Europa League win will revolutionise this club. Strange things that's going to happen to this club in a good way. We're on for a treat next season. Next season will be a good one.
We'll see. We'll see.
We all want to do well, don't we? We all do.
That's it. That's all we want. That's all we want.
Honestly, I don't think relegation's on the cards. I think we'll improve, but not to the level some will say. I think 10 to 14th plus a cup run in the FA Cup. I mean, that's not good enough, is it, really? A cup run and 10th or 14th.
No. Can I just say the one good thing? One good thing about keeping Ange next season, and it's the only thing that's good about keeping Ange, is this.
Ange watch. We haven't done it for months, have we?
No,
It just got
keep Ange watch.
The joke finished, didn't it? Because we were having a bit of a joke about it, and then it just got serious, didn't it? When we would just be losing every week.
It was like, actually, we really are crap.
Oh dear, good times.
It's not funny anymore.
Good times. Big up, Mark. Spot on Dan. No middle ground. Yeah. Ange, the team will no doubt prove the doubters wrong again. 5th in the FA Cup is what we predict. Who's going to turn their nose up at that? Who's going to turn their nose up at that? I think it will be I think it will be an extremely mediocre season. Yeah.
It's hard not to agree at the moment, isn't it?
Quite possibly. We just got away with winning that cup. Jimmy Hotspur, evening to you. Big up, guys. Good evening. We lost our cat earlier. Absolutely gutted. Oh, man.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that, man. That's so sad. I hope you're all right and your family's all right, man. Oh,
all the
sorry,
best,
man.
Buddy.
Yeah. Evening, Mark. Evening, everyone.
Yeah, Mark.
Aussie Ange chatting bobbins again.
Mark's on it tonight.
With nothing, with one shot on target. All right, let's see if there's any more chats. Just read out a couple more. George, evening to you, man. Thank you for being here. Let's see for the show. Great show, Dan and Nige. I mean, to be honest, I felt it's been a bit ropey tonight. I don't know why. I just felt it's just gone a little bit. I mean, this is YouTube, isn't it? Right. I mean, this club, it just, it just drives you up the wall. All the different thoughts, feelings, opinions, personalities. It just goes anywhere. And, and sometimes you just kind of, it's not easy to run a YouTube show, Nige. You know that? It's not, man.
No, it's hard. And yeah. And obviously, we had, before we started, we had a couple of people that either dropped out or couldn't make it till later, and it confused it all a little bit, didn't it? But
Yeah, it did. There was a
got there.
couple of it went a little bit. It didn't. Yeah, you're right, Nige. There was a couple of changes at the beginning, which
Yeah.
kind of threw us. But look, I think on the whole, we had good chat, good conversations, different opinions. I think we pulled it off. Thank you, George, for your comment. Jimmy Hotspur, sorry to hear that, mate. Always devastating losing a pet. Yeah, totally is. Sad. Where is Ange going to find the tactics to keep us in the Premier League? He's not shown it the last 2 years, and this is my major concern, Soul Boy. Major concern about his tactics. Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks, people. She was beautiful. Oh. Sorry to hear about the cat. Oh, should we just call it a night, Nige? Let's say a big thank you to everybody who's joined us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Really appreciate all your comments, all your support throughout the season. Yeah. Wonder what's going to happen in the next few weeks. We will find out.
It's going to be interesting.
It is. We just all need to know as a fan base what's going on, and we can stop the bickering. Well, we'll never stop the bickering, really, to be honest. That's just what we do as fans. It would be boring if we all agreed with each other, wouldn't it?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Much appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you for this season. And we, like I say, we'll be doing a couple more shows during the summer.
Please go and subscribe to Nige. If you haven't, guys, that'd be much appreciated. Give him a sub.
Thanks, guys.
And that's it, really. Let's end on this. Yeah, let's end on this. And then I'll do the intro. Yeah, because that was such an amazing night for all us fans. Let's just run it again, just in case people didn't see it. Banging track as well. Let's just do it. Ready? Oh, Alex.
Sorry, mate.
We're about to shut down, mate. How are you? You all right?
You're even ended the show. Sorry, mate. Oh,
we're about to. Yeah. What's up? You okay?
No. I was just coming in to just back off it. Backstage. Sorry, mate.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a crazy show, like it is on YouTube. We had a plan, but the plan went out the window. Well,
have you ended the show, mate?
No, we're live.
Oh, we're live. Oh, okay, cool.
We're about to end. We're about to end it off. We've nearly been going 3 hours.
Yeah, no, mate. I'm just here to. I was just there. Sorry, mate. For the end of the show. Yeah, I was. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry, everybody.
Man.
No. I wasn't coming in to stay in the show anyway. That was it, really. Sorry about
Alex,
that.
I've got a question for you, man. Because everybody doesn't know how to answer. What is going to happen? What is your hunch? Ange is going, staying. What's your opinion on that?
I think from what I'm seeing at the moment, if decisions are not made this week, I think there's it's quite clear that they might keep him. But it's interesting, really, because my understanding is they're going to do a big clear out. So I don't understand when you're making a big clear out if you're not if you're not if you're going to keep the manager that the guy that may be coming in doesn't like. So I don't really get it. You know what I mean? So because if you're going to get rid of Scott Munn, Johan Lang, and bring in Prodigy and his people, I don't understand how that's going to work. You know what I mean? Because the guy that employed Ange is out the door, and you got somebody in who clearly doesn't want him. Because I know there was rumours in December that he's what is it? He wanted him sacked in December.
Yeah.
You know, because he was still his consultant. I have to say that consultant, because we can't say that he was actually working because he was banned. He's still banned, isn't he? Until June. So yeah, so that's it really for me. So
So what's going to happen? Is he going or is he stay? In your eyes, what if you had to call it? Is he gone or is he here?
I'm going to go with my original. I'll go with my original thought. He's going. He's going.
Okay.
Because I don't rate. I just don't think. I don't think they've got. I don't think they're happy with the 17th. It's the 17th. It's the 17th. I don't know why people are overlooking that. Because really, to be honest with you, we should. It's 38 points and 17th. It's awful because really, in other seasons, and I'm not talking about the last 5 years because I don't think anybody's really got up to 40 points in that time frame. But in previous old seasons, before 5 years ago, I think you would have got relegated because you need 40 points to get at least to be safe. So to not get to that mark for me is shambolic, absolutely shambolic.
It is, but Alex, the fan base are now, most of them are back behind Ange.
Well, that's why I'm saying they're flip flopping. I think I understand. I understand some certain people what they're saying because some of them were at Bilbao, and I understand the emotion from that. I can understand, and maybe I would have a little bit of that as well, being in that atmosphere. I understand, but I don't see why I changed my mind because everything there. I don't think the cup run should merit him keeping his job. I just don't think it is.
Such a sway though, Alex. Honestly, it was everybody wanted him gone mostly. Now it's just like 70-30 now, isn't it? I think 70% fans want him in still. And there's obviously still some who want him gone. But it's just unbelievable what winning that trophy has done to the fan base. It's
listen, to be fair, right? And by the way, big up Paul. By the way, because to be honest with you, I did go. I was a bit strong, but you know what I'm like. You know what I mean. So it's all fun and games.
All good.
Yeah,
it's all fine. It's all fine. It's all right.
It's fun and games. All fun and games. It's a good sport. It's a good sport. No, it's definitely a good sport. You know what I mean? Some people just completely disappeared. So you know what I mean? To be fair to him, he gave it a good go. But yeah, and don't get used to it, Paul. Though, don't get used to it. Definitely not. But yeah, I just think the emotion is just, and also the fact that we haven't won a trophy for so long as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So. I understand
everyone's caught up in that emotion still, and haven't actually thought what's actually happened. Do you think people are still caught up in that happiness?
Well, they are, and the thing is, though, unfortunately, he hasn't hit his targets. That's the thing. He hasn't hit his targets throughout the year. So one win shouldn't really merit him staying because throughout the year you didn't hit your targets and. It's the 17th. The thing is, though, he was afforded that luxury of playing the second team and concentrating on the Europa League because he wasn't threatened with relegation. And this is what I'm making the big deal about. He wasn't threatened with relegation. You know, if the teams were actually had cut their teeth a little bit better with the Leicester City, Ipswich, and Southampton, then we would be threatened with relegation, and then he would have to play a second team. Is more of his star players, first team, because he couldn't afford us to get relegated. So, you know, he would have had to have players playing 2 games a week, you know? And this is the same for Man United as well, because, you know, they don't come out of this really good either. They don't come out of this squeaky clean either at all, even West Ham. But Tottenham, I'm sorry, like, the fact that we were just kept on playing the second team, and yeah, he had to win it, and he won it. But I predicted we're going to win it, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just don't think it should be, and I don't think. Thing is, though, the way that Daniel Levy should be doing this, and this is what I'm going to say in my video, because I've been meaning to do a video since yesterday. But like I said, I was at City Splash yesterday. Because I need to enjoy. I enjoy life, unlike some people say I don't enjoy life, but you know that's them. You know what I mean? Because obviously I don't do personal. Mr. Box Office doesn't do personal. That's Alex, and you're not going to get to know Alex anyway. But back onto the subject. You know, you should take the emotion out of the decision and look at the facts. You know what I mean? And really, he's not hit his targets a whole year. Tottenham Hotspur should not be 17th in the league. You know what I mean? So to do that, and the thing is, though, the thing I have an issue with the Europa League run, we were defensively very good. But my theory is, if we let in the goal against Frankfurt, I don't know about Bodo Glimt, because I don't think Bodo Glimt were any good anyway, to be honest with you. But if we did let in the goals, Man United, I don't think we win the games. I say the same thing against against Man City when we won 4-0. I don't think we win the game 4-0 if we let in the goal, because I think we just capitulate, because we've done that against Liverpool. And the game against Brighton sums up how we are. We've gone 1-0 up, and what do? We completely capitulate in the second half. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't think that defense is actually that good still. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, when we're defensively good and we've got that momentum, we look good. But when the goal goes against us, when you see us that we can't attack, because our attack was absolutely awful against Bodo Glimt and Man United, do you think we would have recovered? I don't think we would have, to be honest with you. And this is where he doesn't balance it out, and I don't think he can.
No.
And this
I
is what
agree.
I'm saying at the moment. This is why I'm saying the body of evidence says that we're not going to do it. But for me, actually, you know what? I changed my answer, because I think he will stay. Because if we were going to look for, if he was going to get sacked, right, we would have done it earlier on. We would have done it earlier on.
You think he's going to keep the job?
Yeah, because we haven't. The thing is, though, we haven't been in contact with any other manager at the moment. You see what I'm saying?
As far as we know. As far as we know.
Look,
I know.
Guys.
I'm sorry, guys, because I know you wanted to go. I was literally wanting to just talk to you backstage. That was it, really. Sorry.
Man, we're going to shut down now, man. But big up chat.
Yeah, but
big up chat. Let's close the show down. Appreciate everyone watched tonight. Thank you again for all your comments. Take care of yourselves. We'll probably come back. We'll probably do another one next week. So, guys, I'll catch you all then. Take care of yourselves.